Honorable members, the only item on today's order paper is questions addressed to ministers in the social cluster. Honorable members, can you lower your voices? You are in the House now. Members may press the talk button on their desks if they wish to ask a supplementary question. The first question has been asked by the Honorable Hlengwa to the Minister of Water and Sanitation. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker and honorable members. The department is aware of the issues that are related to this particular contract. However, with regard to the two companies that were awarded contract in Umkhanyakude, we have referred this matter to the Minister for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, since the matter also includes the other sphere of government, which is the provincial government of Kokta in KwaZulu-Natal. Thanks.
Honorable Hlengwa.
Ngiyathokoza Sekela Somlomo. Khabazela inhlekelele yamanzi eMkhanyakude akusona nanendaba yoxoxa siyibona ngamehlo. Abantu baphila usizi ekseni, emini, ntaba nasebusuku. Amapayipi ekukhulunywa ngawo lapha ahlele ehlathini aneminyaka ahlala. Nawo benemizamo uhambisa amabhala lapha yaniyole indaba yamanzi. Kodwa ngani bakuphile ngamabhala. Lolu daba dinga ukuthi nolusukumele ngoba lenkinga yamanzi eMkhanyakude iyaqhubeka. Nedamu lapha yana liphethwe umnumzana othize onamagunya akhe yedwa. Manje ngithi angibuza engqongqosho ukuthi ayibe khona imizamo ephuthumayo oyenzayo ngoba njengoba lolu daba ulise engqongqosho ubisa nokubambisana nje laqala khona nekomiti lahamba layobheka lawafica lamapayipi uPLO wakho wayekhona. What adds injury, salt to injury here is that it is the husband of the MEC of Kokta and KZN who's actually the one who got the tender for these pipes. So on top of referring it, Honorable Minister, what other plans do you have of ensuring that the matter is actually fast-tracked, because the situation has gone beyond desperate now? Can there be other interventions on top of the investigation and the referrals? Because impilo zabantu lezi esikhuluma ngazo nemfuyo nokuhlupheka nosizo sokuba mezothi intuthuko emakhaya naseyikoleni naseyibhedlela nasemakliniki kugqoza intuthuko. Ngiyayibonga imizamo ukuthi udaba olulusele phambili, kodwa ngibona ungathi nawe khona indawo efanele iqhaza fanele ulibambe kulolu daba ngoba isimo sesiyaphuthuma. Ngiyathokoza.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hlengwa. Indeed, the issue of that particular project in KwaZulu-Natal is a matter of serious concern. And hence, both Kokta and National Treasury, given the fact that yonke le mali eyasetshenziswa ukuthenga wonke lo mapipe, kwakuyimali eyamagranti esuka ku-National Treasury, ihamba iyakhona laphana directly, ngaphandle kokuthi badlule kumnyango wezamanzi. Kungakho ke thina siwumnyango wezamanzi esesikwenza nanoma lenkinga le isazama ukucazululwa. Thina esikwenzayo are the following issues. There's a regional bulk infrastructure grant that we have already granted as the department for the Jozini bulk infrastructure project. Secondly, the water services infrastructure grant that we have also put aside that will provide support in short-term interim measures, such as the drought support through drilling of AMA boreholes, as well as spring protections. There are 4 spring protection initiatives around the area. The third one is on water conservation and demand management measures that includes programs that look at sanitation support for the entire Umkhanyakude area. And the last one is the Accelerated Community Infrastructure Program, through which we are currently assisting through Mhlathuze Water with the refurbishment of 3 wastewater treatment plants. We are doing those directly, and okunye sizocela ke mhlonishwa Hlengwa ukuthi asebenzisaneni ukuthi naye umasipala lo ongenalo ukhona avuma ukuthi singenelele laphana kunokuthi bafuna ama grant azofikelela kubona bagcine sebekhetha abantu abangenalo ulwazi. Kungakho thina sisebenza ngaphandle komthetho nokuvumelana ne-provincial department kanye nomasipala. Kepha sizwile manje ukuthi emveni kokhetho umasipala uthi cha, le mali ayize kithina sizenzele thina sithi cha, sizoqhubekela thina silungise zonke lezi ipoint eziwu-4 ngikhuluma ngazo. Thank you, ngiyabonga.
Honorable Kaula.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo. Minister, ngifuna ukwazi ngodaba lwasenkobongo emhlali. Lapho abantu abangenawo amanzi kuze kwakhona inkampani ebafakela amanzi ngo-20,000. Ngenxa ukuthi ayikho izingqalazinda okufanele orate ngabe sibanawo abasebenze badlale igebengu. Lapha yana uZandile Mdletshe noMakhoba emhlali banenkinga labafuna ukwazi ukuthi uthini ngalabo abantu, ngabe wazini ngalabantu ababafakela ngo-20,000 why labantu bakithi behlupheka. Okugcina ke lapha yaku-39 kwaMashi kunamanzi yageleza nsuku zonke nama toilet konakele minister while sithi amanzi awekho. Ngiyabonga. Incwadi sasikubhalele yasenkobongo. Ake nithule ukuphapha nena.
Honorable Kaula, the rule is that only one question at a time, supplementary, and not more than that. So all members, please, if you're going to do supplementary questions, stick to one supplementary question and relate it to the original question. Minister?
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Reticulation, which is the supply of water from the bulk source, uyayazi English, akamamele. Starting from the bulk source of water supply into somebody's household is the responsibility of a local authority. We do know, and we have received this kind of an inquiry. Our response is that this was an individual's initiative. It was an initiative where a private service provider had done this work. In the event where a local municipality deals with reticulation within that particular area, there has to be then normalization of that private initiative, because it cannot be compensated by a National Department of Water and Sanitation, because ours is about bulk water supply. We do not actually provide water from a reservoir to somebody's yard. The simplest advice I can say is that let this matter be raised with the municipality. Where there is compensation, municipalities do actually do that. In the city of Johannesburg, in Orange Farm, that is what the city of Johannesburg has done over a long period of time, where private property developers have been compensated. Thank you.
Honorable Johnson.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Minister, given the fact that your department and COCTA work in the same space, that is local government, what programs and what plans does your department have as collaborative work expected to be done by the two respective departments, so that we don't have a silo approach to tackling issues? Granted, you have here bulk and also reticulation, but this one specific municipality is expected to receive one service, which is water. They don't make any delineation as to whether this is for this department or that department. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Sorry, kancane wesihlalo. Kusekwenzeka iphutha wezwangena honorable lapha. Bengithi ngifuna ukuchachisa lana lapho ngaphambili. Angizwa mina lento yesingisi, especially labantu abangithume emuva ke bona. Ibona noma ngingasizwa mina kodwa abasemuva bezwa, especially lemndeni wakaMdletshe.
Okay. All right.
Bafuna isiZulu, ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga, so ixoxa leyo ma. Qhubeka
Order, Chair.
Yes, honorable member, what are you raising on?
On Rule 92, Chair. I think, Chair, you must attend to the request of Mam Kaula.
I have said I'll attend to. Why are you standing
No,
up
people
now?
are waiting for their answer.
No.
The minister
Honor-
must speak in a vernacular language, which is Zulu.
Honorable, you yourself are speaking in English in the first place. You yourself. Honorable Minister, please proceed. Honorable members, this matter I'm going to address. We have spoken about use of languages here, but members must be consistent across the board, please. Proceed,
Honorable
Honorable
Deputy
Member.
Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Yes, what are you raising,
It's a
Honorable
point of order on you. You just come recharging on Honorable Thank you. You should have at least explained how you are going to solve the problem.
Honorable Member, take your seat, please. Please take your seat. And listen when we speak here from the floor, please,
But Speaker,
from the chair.
Speaker,
Yes.
but Speaker, ikuphi inkinga yakho ngabe uba patient usiphendule kahle per rules. Si raise i-concern la uthi uMam Khawula ubuze ngesizulu. Uminister wenza izinto zibe difficult uphendula ngesingisi. Sithi ke please correct that thing. People are waiting at home ngesizulu.
Honorable Member, awuhlale phansi.
Wena
The terms
muwani
of-
wekhaya.
I will deal with that thing, please, and stop instructing me, please. Go ahead, Honorable Minister.
Deputy Speaker,
We don't
Deputy
allow it
Speaker.
anymore. No,
Deputy
no.
Speaker.
It's not allowed, please. Take your seat.
Deputy Speaker,
Ngikulalele ma, ngithi mina cha.
Deputy Speaker, Deputy Speaker. Dinalungelo. Deputy Speaker. Ndinelungelo. Deputy Speaker. Ulwimi lwethu sinelungelo lwalo. Umama ukhawula lento ayithethayo ndinqinelana naye. Uminister makamphendule ngalandlela bekambuze ngayo. Umama ukhawula, Honorable Khawula uthunyiwe. Uthunywe ngabantu besizulu abangasazi isingisi. Ufihlani, uhayidani xa izawuthetha
Point of
ngesingesi.
order, Chair.
Abeva.
Honorable members, please take your seats. Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes, I just want to bring to the attention of the honorable members that there's translation, so you can speak in any language. So the minister can speak in English, there's Zulu translation. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members,
Order, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, ngicela nihlale phansi, please.
Deputy
Take your
Speaker,
seats.
order.
Honorable members, please take your seat.
On
Then
a
you
point of
explain me.
order, Deputy Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Member?
No, Deputy Speaker, you are not being fair to the House. You allow the member of the ANC to speak when you do not allow the member of the EFF to speak. Why are you doing that?
The Honorable Member spoke without my permission.
You did not
You are
recognize her.
Honorable
You did not
member,
recognize her. Why?
I spoke.
Why are you recognizing
Honorable
ANC members?
Honorable members,
Why are you recognizing ANC members
I
and not
have
recognizing
told
EFF
you
members?
not to speak on the same
We have
point.
equal
often
rights
I-
in the House. Do not be like that.
Take your seat, Honorable Member.
No, you should not treat us like that.
Take your
We're
seat,
not your
Honorable
children.
Member. Honorable members, please realize that I actually think this is an appropriate position to talk about this matter of language. You have to be consistent every time, in every language. You do it inside here and outside. We will address it. Yes. What are you raising, Honorable Member?
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that the translation services are not working all over the House. So if that can just be corrected.
We'll attend to that, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Johnson. One of the things that we are doing now to coordinate our work together with COCTA is to review the Water Services Act and the Water Act so as to ensure that we are able to complement one another. Secondly, there is a program that was launched a year ago called Back to Basics. That Back to Basics program, led by COCTA, requires of all of us, in the service, in the departments that have got a responsibility to give support to municipalities, to work together in a complementary way. That's why now, Honorable Member Johnson, we've got 27 district municipalities that are priority municipalities, where we have put together turnaround programs that are making a difference in terms of making sure that we mobilize the resources together, we plan together, and most importantly, we capacitate those municipalities, just like what we have been able to do in Bloemhof, in Dr. Ruth Sekhomotsi Mompati in the Northwest, where 3 days after the elections, we had 2 babies who died out of contaminated water. As we speak now, together with COCTA and provincial government, we've turned around the entire water infrastructure. The municipality has invested on building capacity, and that municipality and the districts are now one of the few in the Northwest that have got a blue drop and a green drop because of collaboration and working together. Thank you very much.
Honorable Baker.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Minister, Mkanyakudi municipality has been plagued with allegations of corruption for many years, and I'm happy to hear that you also mentioned Mshlatu's water board, which is one of the water boards that has been owed 3.1 billion rand by municipalities such as Mkanyakudi. Now, Mshlatu's water board itself is not without allegations of corruption as well. In fact, Minister, it is under your watch that allegations of corruption are quite rife at the moment. And the appointment of the chairperson of Mshlatu's water board, one Ms. Dudu Myeni, is a case in point. Now, Ms. Myeni has been appointed by you as the head of the interim merged boards of Mshlatu's water and Amgani water board, despite her having served her maximum term of office of 12 years, according to the very National Water Act, which you just mentioned. So how is it that she gets this position, we wonder? And despite this water board...
Your time has expired, Honourable Member.
Sorry, can I just ask the question then, Chair? Is it because of her connection to Mr. Zuma that she is being given this preferential treatment and nothing else?
Your time is expired.
Thank you very much, Member Baker. Umkhanyakude has had serious challenges. There has also been a challenge yokuqinisekisa ukuthi umasipala uba nokhono lokuthi ube nabantu abasebenzela yena umasipala abazokwazi ukuthi babhekelelane nenkinga lezi ezikhona. Okusekwenzeka ke ngoba kuneyinkinga phakathi kwakamasipala kanye nomnyango kwiprovince yaKwaZulu Natal. Kungakho siyesaletha ke uMhlathuze Water Board ukuthi kube uwona ozosiza ukuthi ubhekelele imisebenzi yethu laphana eMkhanyakude. Ngempela kuyiqiniso. Umama uDudu Myeni, I know that there is this excitement, the passion to hate, but I want to put it on record. Dudu Myeni has been in the water sector from 1992, before even the democratic dispensation. She has played a role in the old period before 1994, empowering herself to understand the water sector. She has been in Mhlathuze, and Mhlathuze has been one of those water boards that have been able to reach out to the majority of the unserved in the deep rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal. And what has also been a success story, small as that water board could have been, they are amongst a few water boards that have been able to also sustain interventions during this drought period. On the appointment, now that we are merging both Umgeni and Mhlathuze, honorable members, it would be incorrect to then not have an existing board, because I would have preferred, Honorable Baker, that you must then have said she is deputized by the chair of a board whose term also has come to an end. But you have extended both of them so that they must then be the co-conveners in the transition as we are now working towards a wall-to-wall water board of KwaZulu-Natal. They report to a transitional management team that deals with these particular issues. allegations, and I'm happy Honorable
time has
Baker
expired,
has
Minister. I've
continuously
given you
said
additional
alleged
moments.
corruption, not proven acts of corruption. Thank you very much.
The next question is asked to the Minister of Higher Education and Training by Professor Kubisa. Our Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and thanks to Honorable Kubisa for the question. The challenges facing the 2017 registration of students at universities will mostly be related to funding and student accommodation. Whilst no registration challenges are expected at TVET colleges, with respect to universities, I convened meetings with all stakeholders, including university management and SRCs, to discuss and agree on proposed solutions and a roadmap for ensuring that universities return to normality, conclude the 2016 academic program, and prepare for the 2017 academic year. During December this year and January next year, I will engage further with management as well as SRCs, student formations, to appraise them of the new developments and ensure agreements are reached with a view to minimize disruptions at the start of the academic year. On the 8th of December this year, the department will be meeting all the university registrars, finance executives, the South African Union of Students, and NSFAS. And the meetings will be on, amongst other things, universities' plans for the registration period, as well as issues linked to fees, and the mechanisms for the missing middle, how we implement that, as well as address the issue of financial exclusion and student accommodation challenges. We are, as a department, working at a system-wide coordination, although we must also support institutions, because that is where the challenges are, in individual institutions. We have also put in place mechanisms and procedures to deal with TVET institutions. We have set up a monitoring mechanism for all the TVET institutions around registration, so that we are able to intervene timeously where there are problems, to observe student registration, monitor the enrollment management processes across the colleges, and also to ensure that colleges are able to execute student registration effectively. The other details are in my written answer here. I just thought, let me give you the highlights in terms of our preparations. Thank you.
Honorable Kubisa.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Minister, it's common knowledge that when universities and TVET colleges open at the beginning of the year, stampedes are a common phenomenon. And we have just referred to the fact that you hope that the primary problem will be that of fees and accommodation. But we're told that the portfolio committee that with regard to TVET colleges, some measures have been put in place. For instance, students will be part of the registration process, will be used. I want to know from you, Minister, whether at universities the same will apply. And also what is going to happen with those students that are owing universities and TVET colleges. Will they be allowed to re-register even if they have not paid? Thank you very much.
Minister.
Kwilungu elihloniphekile uKhubisa. Kuba bonke abantu abakwazi ukukhokha abanye abakwazi ukukhokha futhi abadla izambane likaPondo. Silindele ukuthi bakhokhe. Ongqiwa labo uhlala ukukhuluma ngabo mbatha zonke izinsuku. Musukwenze ngathi awazi. Kufanele bakhokhe. Ngoba lento yenu ukuthi ongqiwa abangakhokhi, it's such a reactionary position nje ifana na AFF ngento ezenzayo. Umsebenzi omkhulu okufanele siwenze ukuthi njengoba sibeka ukuthi laba bahola imali engekho ngaphezulu kuka 50,000 rand ngenyanga. Njengoba sithi nje sizohlangana nababhalisi basemanyuvesi ama-register. Sifuna ukwenza isiqiniseko ukuthi Sibabona kanjani lapho? Kungabi bikho abazothatha ishansi. Bathi bahola leyo mali bebe behola ngaphezulu kwayo ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sizilungise zonke lezo zinto. Ngishilo kubafundi ukuthi siyafisa ukuthi sisebenzisane ngacela nama SRC. Kwezinye ikhungo bayakwenza lokho ukuthi nemibutho yabafundi ibe nama desk la kukwazi ukuthi abafundi abaneyinkinga beze khona. Yonke lemhlangano ebesinayo nalesizoba nayo. Inhloso yayo enkulu kakhulu ukuthi sonke asibambisane kungabi bikho abama ngaphandle bajikijele ngamatshe. Kodwa sisebenze sonke ndawonye ukuze senze ukuthi unyaka ozayo uqale kahle nabafundi kakhulukazi laba bafika ukuzokwenza unyaka wokuqala bangene kahle bazizwe bemulekile ukuze izikhungo zethu ziqale ukusebenza kusukela ngosuku lokuqala okufanele ngabe zisebenza ngalo. Siyabonga.
Honorable Kasim.
Honorable Minister, what plans do you have, if any, to ensure that missing middle students are not prevented from registering in 2017 due to student debts and are thereafter funded to ensure that they do not accumulate a new debt? So my answer very specifically, Minister, as it pertains to missing middle students, are there any plans that you may have, and what are they, to ensure that they are not prevented from registering due to a debt and to ensure that they are funded so that they do not accumulate a new debt? Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Firstly, Honorable Kasim is aware. He is aware. He's grandstanding now, as he always does. That firstly, we have said that all those who come from families who earn up to 600,000, they won't be paying any increase. In other words, in fees, they are going to experience, those students, a no-fee increase. That is the biggest intervention we've made. And then the second thing we have said, universities must be able to work out a system such that students who owe, including those from the missing middle, are not excluded because they are owing, but mechanisms must be set in place on how their debt is paid and how their debt is managed so that we minimize exclusion even for missing middle students. What the DA will have to help us with is that we ensure that those students who come from the missing middle, who have got money to pay, they don't hoard it because they expect that they will be admitted no matter what happens. That requires cooperation from all of us, including from DASO, Lombuto wenu, Olhlaza, Blue, Lowe DA, ukuthi asibambisane, kungathi uma sekuneyinkinga lapha bese niyabaleka nibuye nizogxeka uhulumeni. Umsebenzi wethu sonke loyo ukuze senze isiqiniseko ukuthi izikhungo zethu ziqala unyaka ngendlela eyiyo. Ngiyabonga sisekela somlomo.
Honorable Mbata.
Perpetua, I have a feeling that the 2017 year will be the year of TVET colleges to show their true colors on the disgusting nature in which they are financing, in particular the poor students, have been under service. There are poor students who wait for awards of transport, food, until third month, fourth month, fifth month. Can you assure this House that the poor students will receive their traveling awards, their accommodation, irrespective of whether they are inside accommodation or external accommodation, and most importantly, their food allowances on time? Can you assure us that? Otherwise, the TVET colleges have learned how to master the art of protest, and they might as well be on the road.
Honorable Minister.
Deputy Speaker, this is instigation by the EFF. And we are aware that that's what you want to do with TVET College. Firstly, we are in discussions with all the stakeholders in the TVET colleges. The principals, the students, the governing councils, to ensure that we deal with all the problems that we have. Secondly, the reason why I'm saying we are instigating, you know that all NSFAS qualifying students, they don't pay any tuition fee in TVET colleges. But as of now, we are unable to pay transport or accommodation for all TVET college students. Because the system has increased much more rapidly than the resources that we are having as government. Instead, what we are expecting, ukuthi njengelungu elihloniphekile leParliament, sukuma uphakamisa isandla uthi ama-college lawa awanikwe imali ngoba le khona njengamanje ayenele, kodwa iningi labafundi, not iningi, 15% kuma-TVET, siyabakhokhela uma ngabe kuwukuthi bahlala endaweni ethize ekude ngebanga lama-kilometers athizeni. Siyakwenza lokho, kodwa wonke umfundi ose-TVET ofanele ukuthola uNSFAS akayikhokhi imali yokufunda, ukhokhelwa yilo hulumeni. Bese kuthi lokho okunye singakabi nako sibambisana. Siyabonga. Hayi unemployed. No.
Honorable member, what are you raising on?
On a point of order on Blade, because he's saying Floyd, so we can say that as well. So it's out of order when an honorable member stands up to raise a legitimate question and ask for an assurance that the payments to TVET colleges are not going to be delayed in 2017. And then the minister cast aspersions on him to say he's instigating protest and violence in a narrow way. And it's wrong in terms of parliamentary rules to cast aspersions on a member of parliament. So you must rule on that and call him to order, because he's asking for an assurance, and that is what is expected to happen here in parliament before the academic year begins. We must be given a clear assurance that there won't be delay in payments in all the TVET colleges that exist in South Africa, because there is no consistency and there's no responsiveness in the manner in which the dysfunctional Department of Higher Education and Training has been handling the issue.
Honorable member, you have actually used that opportunity to raise a point of order to repeat the question that was asked. Now, that's out of order. That's not how you raise a point of order. Honorable members, can we follow the approach we have agreed?
Deputy Speaker, we have raised a point of order about the minister raising and casting aspersions on a member of parliament.
Honorable
You
members,
must rule on that.
Honorable,
Don't take advantage of the other issues that I've raised a point of order on him casting aspersions. What are you saying about that?
Let me tell you, take your seat, let me tell you what I think about it. It's a political response to a political statement. And that's not casting aspersions. It's a political interpretation of a political statement. So it's not a point of order as far as I'm concerned. You are debating, you guys. Honorable Member Mbata, what are you raising on?
I'm rising on, this is my good self. He's casting aspersions on my good self. I'm here speaking as an honorable member.
Honorable member.
I'm not instigating. And you are not protecting me either.
You are here to protect yourself, honorable member. You've just done it. You have just done it, honorable member. That's not casting aspersions. That's my interpretation. Honorable Mukwena, what's your point of order?
No, Chair, you know, the issue of instigating in the climate that we're in now also has criminal interpretations, because this member here could be charged tomorrow for instigating, because we have not ruled on Honorable Blade saying that he has instigated. Please rule on the issue of instigation, that he has not instigated anything. He asked a proper question in a proper platform of parliament. Please, rule on the issue of casting aspersions.
All right, I have ruled on it, Honorable Member. And Rule 927 says, Honorable Member, Rule 927 says when the presiding officer have ruled, we can't debate that.
No, that's fine then. That's fine.
What are you raising on, Honorable Member?
On a point of order on you now that you're making unreasonable and unsound rulings.
You are, Honorable
Because
Member, you are
there people
violating
who are arrested.
927.
There's a student who's
You-
arrested in
Honorable-
University of KwaZulu-Natal on the charge of instigation of violence.
Honorable
More
Member-
than 60 days in prison for that.
Honorable
and
Member-
you take an unreasonable decision in the manner in which you have done so. We're
You-
going to lodge a complaint
just-
against you. You're going to cry like the speaker cried when you lodged a complaint against him. You're following.
Honorable Member, you're out of order and you deliberately violate the rules even as I told them you are. Honorable Members, let's proceed. Honorable September.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Minister, it's encouraging to hear that you have set up a lot of meetings with all the different people at the universities. May I ask, Honorable Minister, one of the things arising out of the crisis that we had at the universities were the fact that the relationship between vice-chancellors and students have broken down quite substantially. As part of the meetings that you are having, is there a plan that will bring back on track a proper relationship between vice-chancellors and students as part of ensuring that everything will be in place at universities and indeed at TVET colleges next year and for the years ahead? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and thanks to the question raised by Honorable September, the Chair of the Portfolio Committee. This is a very important matter. Two things that I would like to say in response to that. Firstly, we had a summit last year on higher education. And I've requested all universities to indicate to me how do they intend implementing those resolutions at institutional level and also engaging all stakeholders. Because we think that is very important in addressing the tensions between students and management. And we also want to use that process to revitalize the institutional forums, which now, in terms of the legislation passed by this House, we want to give them more teeth such that recommendations of institutional forums are not ignored by university councils, and that those recommendations, if rejected, councils must provide rational reasons for that. That is the first thing which we hope will contribute to improving engagement and relations. The second thing is that I have requested the vice-chancellors and the student organizations to work towards developing dispute resolution mechanisms at institutional level and where necessary, where we would be involved at system-wide level. Because one of the big problems we don't have such dispute resolution mechanisms, which we think we need, so that if there is a dispute at an institution, we know what processes are going to be followed up in order to resolve that, including possibilities of mediation where necessary, so that we don't leave our institutions vulnerable to endless unresolved disputes. Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, as we proceed to the next question, I would like to draw attention of members, which is what I should have done right at the beginning. of Rule 92, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that as we proceed to do our work, we comply with the rules. The next question has been asked by Honorable Glomo to the Minister of Sports and Recreation. I'm informed that Honorable Ralekhoma will take over the supplementary question.
Thank you,
Minister.
Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Deputy Speaker, may I address you in terms of Rule 138?
Yes.
At the Chief Whip's forum this morning, we were still unsure whether the Minister would be here. But this is now the second consecutive session of oral questions in the House that Minister Mbalula has been absent for. And the Constitution is very clear that ministers are accountable collectively and individually to Parliament. And I think that this House should take a particularly dim view of a minister who has prioritized a trip abroad over his duty to account to the people of South Africa through this Parliament. And I really think that the time of us saying, yes, okay, well, we hear what you're saying, has to pass. The Deputy President gave an assurance in this House that we'd see an improvement. We've not seen an improvement. Minister Mbalula has now missed the second opportunity. Ministers only in a year often come 3 times. Now, the minister has not been for this one and the last one. So it's unlikely he has been held accountable. And I really think we need to reach a stage where this House has to pass resolutions expressing its displeasure at ministers who miss consecutive sessions. We're not being unreasonable. We understand, and it's no disrespect to the Deputy Minister, we understand that ministers are often taken away from the House on urgent business. But to miss 2 in a row, I think, is really disrespectful of this House and disrespectful of the members who should be holding the minister accountable.
Okay.
Honourable Deputy Speaker,
Yes, Honorable Member.
I rise in terms of the same Rule 138 to say that what the Honourable Stiene has just raised does not arise from here. Instead, 138(4) does specifically provide for the minister or deputy minister to actually respond. So we think that what he is raising is really not in accordance with the rule in any manner. 138(4) is very clear and explicit. And therefore, we really move that the point be not considered at all. Thank you.
Deputy. Yes, Honorable Shivambo. I'll come.
No, look, Deputy Speaker, you know, in the Chief Whip's forum, we specifically agreed amongst all political parties that Mbalula must stop hobnobbing at the expense of Parliament.
Mr. or
Well,
Honorable?
well, Mr. Mbalula must stop hobnobbing at the expense of Parliament. He travels for things that have got no relationship with sports development. He's apparently in Spain now, visiting Barcelona for what we do not know. And we said specifically very clear to the ANC Chief Whip and the whip part of the ANC.
Point of
that
order, Chair, again.
At all times, let us have cabinet ministers being the ones who answering
I'll give you
questions
an
here.
opportunity.
Not deputy minister is not a member of cabinet.
No,
We
Honorable
want
Member.
cabinet
Honorable
ministers
Member.
to come and be held accountable on what is happening
Honorable
with regards
Member.
to sports, because
Yes.
the only thing that we see visible from the Department of Sports is those awards, but there's nothing that is happening, and we want him to be held accountable directly.
Honorable Member, we've heard your point. Can I
and I
rule on that?
agree that we must express, as Parliament now, serious exception on Mr. Mbalula's disregard of this institution and lack of accountability for the work that he's doing currently.
All right. Yes, Honorable Member. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. While there's a point of order on the floor, we quite find it shameful that the EF should consistently, and Mr. Shivambu in particular, continue to actually defy the rules as they stand. He cannot refer to the Honorable or to Mr. Mbalula as just Mbalula. In case his home discipline fails him, the House rules are very clear on how we should refer to each other, and that he should not be allowed to proceed in that fashion.
Chair, I raise order.
Yes, Honorable Member, what's the order?
Chair, I raise on point 92. You have just made a ruling, and the ruling was complied with. So the honorable member should have just sat down. He can't repeat because it's undermining your ruling A ruling is already made. And basically the point has been made about the accountability of Mr. Mbalula. And that we have noted. So you must sit down.
Honorable members, it's okay. Okay.
Deputy
All right.
Speaker.
Take your seat. Can I make a ruling on this matter
Can I
you've
just,
raised?
I would like to respond because you've given the EFF a chance to respond to the comments there.
oh.
I just want to make the point that no matter what is contained in this green book, it can never supersede what's contained in this little book called the Constitution. And the Constitution at 92.3 sets out very explicitly how ministers are accountable to this House and that they are required to provide full and regular reports concerning matters under their control. So he can waive the Green Book as much as he likes. He's not going to save Mr. Mbalula with it. Mr. Mbalula is held accountable through this book to this Parliament and to these members.
Honorable members, we will, firstly, the rules are clear that ministers do have to account to the House, and deputy ministers will answer on behalf of ministers or their departments if the situation requires so, and by agreement with the House, as they often do so, inform us. That's in the rules. That's accountability. We will obviously convey the concern of the frequency of ministers attending, especially Mr. Mbalula, who's in this case being mentioned. That we will convey to him to be present in the House. I think there is no question about the responsibility for accountability, and therefore, Honorable Oosthuizen, you are in charge. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, thank
No,
you.
no, no, no. Honorable Steenhuisen, please. Yes, who's wrong now? Who are you saying is wrong? You see, this is the problem. Stop screaming across this place here. Go ahead, Honorable Member, please.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
Please let the
I
Honorable
gladly-
Deputy Minister account to Parliament on behalf of his department.
Honorable Speaker,
No,
thank
no,
you
no.
so
He's
much.
got a responsibility to account even if he's not a cabinet minister. The rules allow that, and you approve those rules. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Point of
Honorable
order,
Speaker.
Chair.
Honorable Filtane, what are you rising on?
If the rules are not in congruence with the Constitution, they are ab initio invalid.
No, they are inconsistent.
They are not.
Okay, all right.
You have just been informed about the contents of the Constitution, and you cannot sit there and support something that is contrary to the Constitution. In the case of Honorable Minister Mbalula, the problem is that he
Honorable
is
Member.
consistent.
Point of order, Honorable Member,
He's
can I read you the
This
rule?
is what bothers us. He's consistent.
Honorable Member, can I point out to you that I said to you, the presiding officer's ruling on a point of order is final and binding and may not be challenged in the House. Can you accept that ruling? You may not accept the ruling itself, but you can't challenge it in the House. You create disorder. Okay. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. I provide the answer gladly as delegated to me by my colleague, the Minister of Sport and Recreation, Honorable Fikile Mbalula. The answer, Honorable Member, is that our Department of Sport and Recreation is a member of the Central Drug Authority. Our department further participates in all the programs, and we do report annually on the Sport National Drug Master Plan. Importantly, our department is responsible for outcome 3 of the National Drug Master Plan, which mandates our department to provide for recreational facilities and diversion programs aimed at preventing vulnerable members of society from becoming substance dependent. The implementation of what the National Drug Master Plan directs our department to deliver on is provided for in the Active Nation program of our department, and that through the delivery of active recreation campaigns, school sport, and community sport activities. The provision of recreation facilities is further implemented under the Sport Infrastructure Program through the delivery of multi-purpose sport combi courts, outdoor gyms, and kiddies play parks. With regard to collaboration with universities to address the high levels of doping in sport at universities, our department recognizes University Sport South Africa, commonly known as USA, as a sport and recreation body, which is a controlling body of all sports played at tertiary institutions in South Africa. USA, as a national federation, is obliged to accept and abide to the National Anti-Doping Program and the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport Anti-Doping Rules as published in 2015. Article 1 of the anti-doping rules specifically provide for its application to the National Federation under question. Furthermore, SAIDS has signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of the Witwatersrand and University of Johannesburg. The memorandum of understanding addresses anti-doping education for students in the sports science and human movement departments. The agreement also includes education and testing for university athletes in various sport codes like rugby, football, hockey and cricket. The South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport also has an ongoing working relationship with the Dean of Students' Office and Campus Security at the University of the Northwest, and the aim is to address steroid and drug supply to students and athletes on the very campus. In the past year, SAIDS conducted pre-season education sessions to athletes in the following sporting codes: rugby, football, hockey and athletics, and to students in sports management, sports science and sports medicine in the Universities of Limpopo, Stellenbosch, Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Cape Town, Witwatersrand, Nelson Mandela Metropolitan and Johannesburg. I thank you.
Honorable Ralkhoma.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. In spite of the apartheid legacy that stretches the department, Minister, don't you think that the education anti-drug awareness campaign undertaken by SAIDS need to be increased to both primary and high school level?
Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for a very good question. As you may know, Honourable Member, that in the APP of the department, we are budgeting now for the next year to come to do some smart testing. In terms of that, we will be able to do smart testing with SAIDS and roll out the program to include the very institutions, hopefully, on an incremental basis that you referred to. We are in agreement that this is a scourge that we have to address proactively, and we are doing so as a department. So thank you for a good question.
Honorable Malati.
Thanks, House Chair. Deputy Speaker, Deputy Minister, if you look into the SAIDS annual report for the 2015-2016 financial year, you'll realize that doping amongst under 18 rugby players are amongst the highest violations in sporting code, just behind powerlifting and cycling. So in light of that, what is the department doing to curb the levels of doping at under 19 level? Because despite the fact that those that are tested, the numbers are high, there are still many that go untested. So I want to know what are the interventions that the department is putting in place to ensure that that is prevented across the board, not just at the later stage where you rely on testing them when they are breaking to professional level. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Latsi, thank you so much. As I indicated in my answer, there are memorandums of agreement and understanding that we are rolling out, implementing to do the testing. I refer also to the question I've given in terms of intelligent testing and doping, but more importantly is the hotline that we want to pursue, like I've referred to, the agreement with the controlling authority, so that when you know of something, you can report that. That is the way we're going to address this thing collectively and root out this whole scourge. But I will copy you a favor. I'll favor you with a copy of my answer, which I've given, and I did answer you there.
Honorable Stolle.
Honorable House Chair, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Minister, is any campaign or mechanism in the department that the department is running to educate and make an awareness of this doping, because it is happening to all schools and in all sporting code. Is any mechanism or system that the department is running in conjunction with the Department of Education?
Deputy Minister.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Member, I refer you to the answer, but let me just elaborate a little bit. When we talk about the campaigns that we run, like we have memorandums of understanding and agreement, yes, we talk about National School Sport Championships, we are educating the students there in collaboration with education on anti-doping and the fears they must, the wrongs about anti-doping. The second thing that we do is we create awareness through SAIDs, educational programs. That's part of our transfer that we do. And we do so precisely because we think that we have a clean sport, and we're very vocal about this department, is the way to go worldwide. I can also mention that as a country, we do contribute internationally also to the World Anti-Doping Association, not only the funding committee and distribution of funds, but also in terms of educational programs. So yes, we are doing that.
Honorable Sheikh.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Deputy Minister, we are in the process of hosting the next Commonwealth Games. Can you tell us how ready we are for this, whether we've met with the agreement, have we signed the agreement, have we paid the deposit, have we signed the guarantees, and do we have the capacity, should we be having this Commonwealth Games, would we have the capacity to deal with the issue with doping in South Africa? Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, that's a new question, but in terms of the doping ability, yes, we'll be able to do that.
Thank you, honorable members. We move to the next question 305, asked by Honorable Zoledi to the Minister of Arts and Culture. Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The reply is as such. After the Pan-South African Language Board was dissolved, the Minister sought concurrence from the National Treasury to appoint the National Heritage Council as the acting accounting authority. An approval was granted, but was subsequently withdrawn, and it was recommended that an advisory body be appointed. Prior to the dissolution of the board, the organization has failed to table its 5-year strategic plan and an annual performance plan for 2015-2016 financial year. The department provided support to PENSALP, and the organization managed to submit a strategic plan and the annual performance plan for 2016-2017 financial year to the department for tabling in Parliament. So the minister appointed an advisory committee on the 13th of May 2016. The duties of the advisory committee were developed to a turnaround strategy for PENSALP, including developing an updated diagnostic review of the status quo of the organization, building on the existing documents such as the performance and expenditure report produced by the National Treasury in 2014, identifying the skills gap and underutilizing resources in the organization, reviewing legal, compliance, and governance matters, the implementation of the findings of the forensic audit conducted by the National Treasury. So the department has agreed and has also engaged with the National Treasury to request the additional funds that be made available for the institution to mainly cover the litigation matters against the PENSALP. The National Treasury has since made an additional allocation of 37 million rands, which will be spread over the MTEF period as follows: 10 million in 2017-2018, 12 million in 2018-2019, and 15 million 2019-2020. Thank you.
Honorable Soledi.
Ke a leboha motsamaisi wa dipuisano. E re ke lebohe motlatsa letona le Khabane ka tlhakisetso e totobetseng ntlheng ena ya ntlo ya rona ya tsa puo. E re ke botse potso ya ka e latelang. How will the Department of Arts and Culture ensure that lessons from the past experiences at the Pan-South African Language Board result in an improved promotion of multilingualism and development of all 11 official languages without the administrative problems of the past? I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. So, my papers got changed. What is wrong? There's nothing wrong.
Speaker, Deputy Speaker, we have a crisis here.
What? There's no crisis.
There's a crisis
You
here.
are a crisis.
What happened to your department? You don't know your department, Chief.
Honorable-
I do
Relying on
Honorable
papers
member.
I want
here.
to know.
Ah, there's a crisis.
Take your seat, honorable member.
Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker.
Yes.
I rise
what's
on
that?
Rule 92, a point of order. Is the Deputy Minister trying to find the answer to the Honourable Member's question?
Yes.
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 Of course.
But you're not... A member's supposed to get up and,
no,
and
no,
ask
no.
an oral question. It's also...
Like,
it's
Deputy
spontaneous.
Speaker,
It's not supposed to be
may you have order?
This takes a sham of oral questions and holding the executive to account.
Can we be taken serious?
Yes, you agree with
Responding
me.
to
Okay.
Go ahead.
Deputy
You
Speaker.
can't be standing, both of you. Honorable Shivambo.
Yes, I'm saying, but
No.
can we really be taken serious? We raised the point earlier that we need cabinet ministers to come and answer questions. And then we are saying deputy ministers who don't even know where the answers are.
Take your
No,
seat.
I do know where they are. It's only that the papers.
Like, they've been searching for 5 minutes.
Honorable member.
May you take your seat?
Go ahead.
May you take your seat? Anything can happen
Honorable
with all your
Deputy
speaker.
Minister,
The
address the
department.
House.
Okay, Deputy Speaker, the Department of Arts and Culture, working with the Parliament,
On a point, Deputy
will
Speaker.
appoint.
Deputy Speaker, on a point of order.
What's the
What
point
is
of
it?
order?
The point of order is, how did the Deputy Minister know what the follow-up question was going to be?
She will tell you. Let's
No.
ask her.
No.
Let's ask
No,
her.
this undermines the entire
How
oral
will I know
question
that?
session.
Take your seat. Let's ask her.
Are you not concerned that she's reading a reply to a member's question?
Let's ask her.
Well,
Why you-
ask her then.
You take your
Please.
seat then so that I ask her.
But, Deputy Speaker,
Honorable members, please be orderly. The Deputy Minister will answer your question. She's heard it. Proceed and answer the question, Honorable Deputy Minister.
I want to.
you
I want to
can't
reply
scream.
to
You
the. I
can't
want to
scream.
reply to the
You've
member.
asked your question. Cool your heels, please. Hold your heels,
May I
honorable members.
reply? May I reply to you?
Yes.
I have written notes about the whole concept about pencil. So that's why I am looking through which one. It's not that I knew about it. The Department of Arts, and that's why I wrote notes. I read the whole and wrote notes for the whole pencil. So I just get to that sentence. That's why you saw me looking for the questions. All right, the Department of Arts and Culture, working with Parliament, will appoint a competent pencil board, which will ensure that pencil adheres to its constitutional mandate. Are you ready to get the answer or not? Just say not if you don't.
All the honorable members. All the honorable members.
Yeah.
Honorable, yes, honorable member. What are you rising on?
No, Chair, you know this is the reason why arts and culture as a sector is not
Honorable
developing.
member, what's your
because
point of order? Honorable member,
the
what's your
deputy
point of
minister
order?
doesn't even know answers to questions.
No,
He has to
no.
write issues down.
No, take your seat, honorable. That's not a point.
I've answered you. I don't know. You were not
Honorable, take
listening. That's all. Deputy Speaker, I was saying that we are working with Parliament that will appoint a competent pencil board which will ensure that pencil adheres to its constitutional mandate of promoting multilingualism and developing all 11 official languages, including the Khoi, the Nama, a San, and the South African Sign Language. So I repeat, I had read the question and I wrote all my notes, so that is why I delayed. It doesn't matter how much you shout, that is the truth.
Honorable Esterhazy. Go ahead,
Thank you,
Honorable
Deputy.
Esterhazy.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Minister, you mentioned 37 million additional funds. You know, the deep-rooted problems at PANSALB, the South African Language Board, cannot be solved by merely throwing additional funds at its many problems. This statutory body has been plagued by poor administration and executive leadership for a long time now. When will you or when will the department say enough is enough and look at alternative solutions in order to fulfill this statutory mandate of this department? Thank you.
Honorable
Thank you,
Deputy
Deputy.
Minister. Just
Thank
hold
you.
on. Honorable Deputy Minister, please take your seat. Honorable Chivambo, what are you raising on?
Deputy Speaker, I want to raise on, in terms of Rule 1427. So this process that we're engaged in now says that there's a primary question that gets asked. Yes, because that question has been submitted, you can come with a written response. But a supplementary question arises out of the house there, and then the minister must respond. But yeah, she stands up to look for an answer for more than 2 minutes. And number 7 says that a supplementary question must not consist of, must not exceed 2 minutes. Even the reply must not exceed 2 minutes. She spent 3.5 minutes searching for an answer over a supplementary question, which is supposed to be 2 minutes. And you stand there, you do not do anything about it. We have got time allocated for the whole question session, and then we must be delayed by a person who's still searching for the sketch which has been practiced in the ANC's Chief Whip's office, that you will ask this question and answer like this. Then you misplace papers and then you can't make us a joke here. We must take this parliament very serious. We understand the mediocrity in the ANC, but don't overwhelm parliament with your own problems, please.
Honorable Shivambo, the replies are limited to 2 minutes. The replies. And that's what the clock records here. Yes. Once the Deputy Minister rises to answer and she starts, the clock operates. Go ahead, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Just a point of order, Deputy Speaker.
What's your point of order?
Oh, my dear. No, just get a clarity. Searching for papers is part of answers. She spent 2 minutes searching for answers in the form of papers. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Member, you are repeating what has been asked, and that's out of order. Proceed, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much. We are quite aware that even if you put millions or thousands of money alone cannot solve the problem. So the gaps that are there, we've identified we need a good way of governing that money. And we have to add, of course, the staff and right people to be in those places. We didn't have enough staff. Now we have added staff that was lacking. That will work with the money. Because money alone, you are right, money cannot answer questions. It won't be able to solve. It's money and also human resource. Thank you.
Honorable Filtani.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Minister, what we look for generally is the effect of all processes. So my question would be directed to you on that basis. With all that is happening and all the promises that you reported on and the efforts, so far, how big is the impact of the use of indigenous languages of South Africa in official communication? Thank you.
As a department, we have requested all departments that they follow, that the indigenous languages be followed. And we are monitoring that system. It is happening, but also it won't just be departments, but everyone, not in only the department, every organization. We want that every organization is able to do the same.
Point of order, sir.
Thank you.
Point of order, sir. Hello? Point of order.
How
Mike. Point of order. Thank you.
You literally threw your words into her mouth and she sits down. What are you raising, Honorable Member? You mean you couldn't allow her to finish?
Yeah, it's because she's gone off at a tangent. My question was in terms of percentages, not the generic stuff that she's giving me. Percentages, because if as a department you have got a responsibility of making sure that the indigenous languages are being used, you need to know year by year what percentage is Xhosa, Zulu, whatever, being used, not generic stuff.
Okay.
This is parliament.
Okay. That's a, all right.
Point of order, Speaker.
What's your point of order?
No,
Honorable
yes.
Chauke?
No, the Deputy Speaker, I think it is necessary
What's
that, I want to address you.
Yes, what's your point of, what are you raising on, honorable member?
The
Don't say
point
no. Answer the question.
I'm rising on a point of order on the basis that you need to protect the ministers when they're on the floor. You have a responsibility to protect them. There's no way that any
Honorable
member can speak as they want when the ministers are on the
Honorable
floor.
Chauke, you are out of order. Take your seat. And don't repeat that. Don't repeat that. My job, don't tell me what my job is. That's out of order. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Honorable Deputy Minister, I have confidence in you that you are able to respond, and please do so.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The honorable member, if you want the exact numbers, I will send them. I will written and send them to you. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable members, if the Speaker is of the opinion that a question comprises matters of substantive statistical nature, the Speaker may direct that the question be placed on the question paper for written reply. Please remember that in future, when you rise to ask a supplementary question and you didn't advise the minister or deputy minister that the nature of your question is going to require numbers. Honorable Grootboom.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Deputy Minister, PENSALP has been dysfunctional for a number of years, which finally resulted in the Minister of Arts and Culture to dissolve the board. What compelling reasons still exist for keeping this entity on the statute books, since it has miserably failed in the execution of its fiduciary duties to develop and promote languages, and nobody ever actually sees what PENSALP does?
Thank you, honorable member. You are saying, why should we keep it? It has got responsibility. That is why we have dissolved that one, because we could see that they are not able to deliver what they're supposed to deliver. So if they are not able to, it doesn't mean that we must get rid of it. It must not be there. PENSALP must not be there. It's supposed to be there. It's only that we need to have people who are able to do their work correctly. We cannot dissolve the entity. The entity must still be there. It has got responsibility. It was put there because there are responsibilities that it's supposed to do. Thank you.
We move to question 311, asked by Honorable Masango of the Minister of Social Development. Honorable Minister.
Ngiyabonga Sekela Somlomo. Yes, honorable member, SASSA has retained some of the members of the Ministerial Advisory Committee so as to assist with the implementation of some of the recommendations that were made by the advisory committee. But also, what is important is for this House to know that some of the experts that were in the advisory committee asked to be released because they had not been doing their work for quite some time, like the Reserve Bank. It had a representative, and the one that was representing communities, and the one that was dealing with the issues of IT. Now, what we've also done is to look for more resource from the Reserve Bank, and we've got it. We have another one from the security cluster. We've got it. And also we've got someone from the department or from the treasury. And these are to assist us to fast track the process of ensuring that SASSA becomes responsible for the payment of grants. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable Masango.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Minister, for the answer. As the Minister has said, she appointed the Ministerial Advisory Committee to plan or to put together a plan to take over the institutionalization of the grants. And some of those members of the advisory committee were retained to implement their own recommendations, now coming to the department or to SASSA as companies and not as individuals. Would the Minister agree that this could be looked at as being unfair advantage to these people and their companies because they are implementing their own recommendations? And also, this could even be suspected to be corruption. Does the Minister agree?
Hayi cha angivumelani naloko ngoba mangabe sekuukuthi abanye sebeyabuya sebeyasebenza lo msebenzi kumele uapprove by i-treasury and i-treasury ikhona ilana and ibizositshela mangabe kuukuthi kukhona into ebheke eceleni abayenzayo. But uma ngabe ungabheka ezinye zeinqomo abazenzile sebesebenza kuleli committee uyabona ukuthi babantu abayimele vele and abasabi ukuthi mangabe babona ukuthi into abakwazi ukuyenza babheke abanye ongoti abangaphezulu kwabo abazoletha inqomo ezingaphezulu kwalezi abayilethile bona.
Thank you, remember. Honorable Dudley.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Will the new in-house payment of social grants by SASSA necessitate changes to legislation? And what process will follow if this is the case? And will there be challenges in terms of timeframes with Parliament rising and not sitting again until February? Thank you.
Minister.
Umsebenzi omningi kakhulu ophathelene nezomthetho wenziwe kodwa futhi kukhona ikomiti elibheka ezinye izinto njengama regulations aqalile vele asetshenziswe njengeindaba zalaba abakhipha imali yabantu bama grant into ekuzofanele ukuthi ingene kuma regulations nayo futhi siqalile siyayisebenza and therefore izinto ehambisana nomthetho zizoba khona zizohamba ngendlela efanelekile. Ukuvalwa kweParliamente kungaba nomthelela kodwa siyazi sonke ukuthi mangabe kunodaba oluphuthumayo iParliamente liyakwazi ukuthi elibize umhlangano ophuthumayo ukuze amalunga ekomiti ahlale adinga idudaba olundaba mlonyeni njenge communications committee ike yakwenza lokho so nathi singakwenza lokho.
Honorable Malchas.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Minister, I thank you for the reply you gave us because we were working on this program the whole morning. You know, you came to report back to us. What I would like to ask, how will this move the institutionalization of our grants, improve the ANC government's social security program, and ensure that the state is reinforced in this regard. Thank you.
Nishaye ngathi niwongqoshi shilizi. Kona nje ukuthi uhulumeni uyalithatha lolu hlelo kancane kancane uletha ngaphakathi kwakhe kuzokwenza ukuthi akwazi ukuba nezwi ezintweni eziningi. Kokuqala into ehluphile kakhulu ukuthi nje kumane kuthathwe imali yabantu bengashongo. Lokhu uhulumeni uzokubheka. Okwesibili ukuthi kuvunyelwe ukuthi abantu bamasingcwabisane bathathe u10% kuphela la ku grant, kodwa uthola ukuthi banikezwe ogogo masingcwabisane abathathu as if umuntu ushona kathathu. Okwesithathu ukuthi nje kumane kukhishwa imali kagogo ohlala le emqanduli ongenawo ugesi noma ongenawo amanzi. Lokho sizokwazi ukuthi sikwazi ukukontrola, kodwa futhi lokhu kuzokwenza ukuthi sikwazi ukwenza ezinye izinto ezingcono ezokwenza ukuthi amalungelo abantu abantulayo ahlonipheke.
Honorable van der Merwe.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, Honourable Minister, I think we need to face the facts, and that is that April 2017 is around the corner. Your department is limping towards this deadline. You are not going to meet this deadline. And in fact, you were frank enough to tell SCOPA recently that it was a mere wish of yours that SASSA will be able to meet this deadline. And I think, however frank your admission was, I think we all now know what we can buy you for Christmas, and that is one of those genie lamps so that your wish can come true. But I think that aside, I would like to ask you why you never considered partnering with SAPU. Not only do they actually have the ability to pay out grants, but they desperately need government business to stay afloat. And can you also tell this House today whether, because you failed to plan, you will now be forced to simply extend the CPS and Net1 contract, which will actually be a great failure on your part, because it's the same crooks who continue to steal money from our vulnerable grant recipients each month. I thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Okay. Okokuqala siphume committee manje. Sabeka time frame amasha. Sakhuluma nange phase in, phase out process. And okwesibili ipos sasilithanda ngenye indlela nathi. Kodwa mangabe sithi siyaqala sisebenza nalo, the present service provider yasiyisa ecourt, and icourt yathi much as ipos li state institution kumele likhompithe njengamanye ama-bank or other financial institutions. Kodwa phezu kwaloko futhi siqhubekile sasebenza neposi kwezinye izinto zokuposa nezokukhuriya. Kodwa enye into ebalekile ekuzomela siyenze ngoba iposi lona linayo i-footprint ukuthi sivumelane ukuthi abasebenzi baseposini ba-understand ukuthi mase sisebenza nabo kakhulu okwangempela. Okay, mabetele kufanele kusale abazokwenza sure ukuthi ogogo nomkhulu nezingane ziyathola i-grant yaso. And enye into ebalekile ukuthi la ku court judgment kukhona indawo eziyisikhombisa ekuthiwe kumele sibheke. Kodwa mangabe esesihlala phansi kahle sesibhekisisa sathola ukuthi ziyishumi strategic ezokwenza ukuthi senze umsebenzi wethu efficiently and therefore naloko ku contributile kakhulu ukuthi singakwazi ukuthi sizokwenza izinto masishane. Okugcina isinqumo senkantolo sithi ngomhla ka-30
Deputy Speaker, may I ask when you're going to enforce Rule 1428, which limits the minister's reply to 2 minutes and no more?
Okay.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the additional information the minister was giving in the 30 seconds that she spoke under was legitimate. Honorable member.
Sorry, uxolo lapho wesihlalo. Sihlalo.
Honorable member, there's a member on the floor.
Oh, okay, uzongivumela ke.
Yes,
Deputy
honorable
Speaker,
member.
with due respect,
Yes, sir.
you have discretion for the original reply to extend it from 4 to 6 minutes, according to the rules, and that's 1423. 1428 does not give any discretion, and all we're asking is for the rules to be implemented fairly and consistently towards the ministers and the members, which is not happening. You cut members off, but you allow the ministers to waffle on.
Honorable member, you see, when you say that, you must recognize what you are inviting will happen to you. And we will do it with absolute ruthlessness. No, honorable member, you see, you keep conversing even as I'm speaking, and you're out of order. Because when you do that, you're encouraging a very nasty habit to emerge in the house there. That every time we say something that you disagree with, as if this is not a chamber of the council here. They can't do it, there's unfarbar. As a belief, for standard net. Yeah. Honorable Kaula, what are you rising on?
Ngiyabonga esihlalo. Khona kusiphatha kambi la endlini mangabe kuzothi minister befuna ukuchaza ngezinto ezibalekile ezithinta abantu emphakathini. Lento zempesheni uright uminister mayichaza. Kodwa manje akufanele abantu bezothi akashesha. Ngicela ukuthi lapho ngaphambili ungabavumeli abantu abazibona ukuthi abayisebenzisi lento empesheni. Minister, sukuma uqhuluma ukunikezwe mina imvume.
Cha minister ungasukumi. Kodwa siyakuzwa ma. Honorable members. Injalo lento asiyeke siqhubekeni phambili. Honorable members, question 282 has been asked by Honorable Mganga Kabashe to the Minister of Human Settlements.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, the question comes at a time when the world had gathered in Quito to discuss the issues that are raised by the honorable member. The member wants to know, at the rate of urbanization, which has reached 60% internationally, what are the implications for our housing policy or human settlements policy? And our answer is the world is internationally experiencing waves of urbanization, and the matter seeks urgent attention, and we're gathered in Quito to deal with exactly this issue for Habitat 3, because it's the biggest issue to confront us as we deal with providing our people with shelter. it is estimated that actually we have urbanized at the rate of 60% of our people living in unsanitary conditions worldwide. It is anticipated that as we speak, there are 1 billion people living in slum conditions because their urbanization has not been prepared for. It is also expected that by 2015, this number will have tripled. We will have 3 billion people unless we do something urgently and seriously living in poverty and in slum areas. We have taken note of all of this, and our policies have worked ahead of these developments to ensure that we are able to accommodate the number of people who are urbanizing. South Africa is urbanizing at the rate of 2.4% on an annual basis, and as we speak now, we are unable to deal with the informal settlements that we found. In 1995, House Chairperson, the number of people who are living in informal settlements and needing care and attention was 1.5 million houses, 1.5 million families. And this was as a result of a combination of the apartheid regime's policies of influx control and growing possibilities of employment in urban areas. When the new dispensation, the democratic dispensation, came into place, we were confronted with this number of 1.5 million families requiring accommodation. We have now provided 4.4 million houses, but we find that we're chasing a moving target because the more houses we produce, the more people come into the urban areas because they offer better opportunities. The NDP estimates that in South Africa alone, urban population will have grown to 7.8 million people more than we have right now. That means that 3 out of every 5 people in South Africa is expected by 2030 to be living in urban areas. We're now having to ensure that between ourselves, COCTA, the Department of Rural Development, the Department of Sanitation, and all other related departments can work together to ensure that we can actually anticipate the levels of urbanization in our country, plan for it, and make sure that we are able to contain this. Our policies currently do offer various solutions for dealing with some of the issues that we are confronted with, except that we are unable to plan for the percentage of urbanization beyond our own citizens. We have a situation where neighboring states are finding in South Africa opportunities for employment, and these are not planned for, but we have to accommodate them because they become part of our informal settlements. We're working together, which is number 2.
Honourable Minister, your time is now expired.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Deputy House Chair.
The first follow-up question is to be asked by the Honourable Kabashe.
Ngiyabonga Sihlalo wendlu ehloniphekile. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the comprehensive response. The UN says that Africa is expected to be the fastest urbanizing region between 2020 and 2050. While here in South Africa, 71% of South Africans will be urbanized by 2030. And by 2050, framework will be living in urban areas. Given the statistical data and new policy with regards to the integrated urban development framework, what are the implications of human settlements programs in rural areas over the medium to long term? That's my question. Thank you, Minister.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. We are in the process of revising our policy in line with the new agenda that was adopted by UN Habitat, and we were together with the Minister of COCTA at the UN Habitat, and we're working together to ensure that there is synergy between these two policies. There will be a shift. It has been accommodated in our white paper, and what we're trying to do is ensure that we are able to give equal opportunities to people who are in the urban areas as we are giving people who are in the rural areas. The Minister of Rural Development is at the forefront of this, and he is very energetic about making sure that he can make the living conditions of people in rural areas as attractive as those that are in urban areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honourable Sitole.
Thank you, Speaker, Deputy Chairperson. Honourable Ministers, in terms of rapid population in growth in central urban areas, is the minister working together with the counter ministers to stimulate economic growth in our rural areas as to decrease the rates of urban immigration? Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Yes, as I've indicated, we are working together, especially with the Minister of Rural Development, to ensure that we can make conditions in our rural areas as attractive as those that exist in urban areas. And indeed, this is something that we work on a regular basis, Chairperson. Thank you.
The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honourable Gada.
Thank you, Chairperson. And Minister, you just mentioned that there is an annual increase of 2.4 increase in terms of urbanization. What I want to ask you is, what is your plan to effectively deal with the increasing urbanization and as thousands of people are moving to the cities? And also the fact that the municipalities don't have enough budget to cope with the problem. So what is your plan that is in place? Thank you, Minister.
Honourable Minister.
Chairperson, yesterday I was at the Portfolio Committee, and Honourable Gada did indicate that she might have an interest in working for the United Nations Office for UN Habitat, which we... So perhaps when she gets to that office, she will be supplying us with the necessary information. We are unable to plan for anything beyond what we ourselves are experiencing, which is 2.4% urbanization. What we're doing is providing the municipalities with the necessary resources to enable them to put in place emergency shelter for people who come in and need emergency support. But beyond that, that is the nature of urbanization. It is unplanned, it is mass movement to where economic opportunities open up from people who are living in conditions where they find that they could better their lives by moving elsewhere. And it is very difficult to actually pre-plan this. But now that we know that this is happening at the rate that it is happening, we have in place the necessary policies, which we have passed on to the municipalities. We work with the municipalities, we meet them at MINMEC, and we assess the situation on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Chairperson,
Yes, Honourable
on a
Member.
point of order,
What is the point of order,
I
Honourable
just
Member?
want to correct the minister because she's making serious allegations about myself. I did not have say that. She made that
Honourable
as a
Minister.
joke. I'm still on the floor, Minister, with due respect.
Honourable Minister, let me just
Yes,
hear
I'm
the
still
member.
on the floor. I just want to correct because it has got serious implications for me. You made that joke in the portfolio committee.
Thank you, Honourable
so
Member.
I want you to retract that because it's not true.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
I was withdrawing even before she finished. She knows very well that this was a joke which we had yesterday. She's now
Thank you, Minister.
very
You have
embarrassed that
withdrawn.
it is being
Thank
said
you.
in front of her. I completely withdraw.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
It's not a job she has taken.
Thank you.
Ms. Carter, when the job does get advertised, I hope you will apply.
The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honourable Dudley. The Honourable Dudley.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Minister, with significant and increasing numbers of people being urbanized, there will be many people in amongst this exodus to the cities who will be very vulnerable and in need of special housing. And since the special housing needs policy, which should address housing needs for these people, is not yet approved, what steps is the department taking to accommodate such people and when they move into urban areas, and when can we expect approval of the SNH policy, the Special Housing Needs Policy? Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
When we had a session on informal settlements in Pretoria, we hosted an international conference there. This is one of the issues that we were discussing. It's very difficult with informal migration and informal settlements to immediately identify who are the vulnerable people and who are not the vulnerable people. But we have the beginnings of an agreement with informal, with organizations that deal with informal settlements to assist us to enumerate people who move into informal settlements so that we are able to identify those that are urgently in need of shelter, those who are in vulnerable position, so that we are able very quickly to attend to them. But we do have a policy within our framework that deals with emergency shelter, that deals specifically with the powers of municipalities to provide emergency shelter for those people.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The next question has been asked by the Honourable Kekana, question number 291, to the Minister of Higher Education and Training. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable House Chairperson. The department recognizes the enormous repercussions that the failure to complete examinations would have on institutions and students, particularly final year and prospective students, as well as for the economy. The department has been monitoring the exams at all institutions and is in constant communication with them. There are some institutions that have concluded their main examinations. That's University of Venda, University of Limpopo, Northwest University, and Mangosuthu University of Technology, whose chancellor is here next to me. At other institutions, examinations are continuing without disruptions, despite serious efforts by people I won't name for now to try and disrupt the examinations. Some institutions have allowed students to choose to write their exams in January, and we will monitor this as well. Departmental officials have been visiting some institutions where there were disruptions in an attempt to assist with resolving the issues raised by students. Continuous meetings are held with the security cluster as part of an interdepartmental intervention plan to ensure safety and security at all institutions of higher learning. The department has also met with managers responsible for security risk management at the university, representatives from the National Joint Operational Center, and representatives from the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority. And the objectives of these meetings were to debate on the state of safety and security on campuses, to find better ways to deal with violent protests and disruptions, and to ensure protection of lives for the staff, students, as well as protecting the university property. I also wish to take this opportunity, Honorable Chair, to actually thank university management, responsible SRCs and other student leaders for the effort they've put into ensuring that the 2016 academic year is indeed properly concluded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Is there a supplementary question from the Honourable Kekana?
Yes, Chair. Minister, are you satisfied that the measures taken to protect students who must write examinations are adequate? If not, what more do you think need to be done? Thanks.
The Honourable Minister.
Honorable Chair, thank you very much. So far, I'm satisfied that whatever weaknesses may still be there, virtually exams have been written in all of our 26 public universities. Indeed, there have been serious attempts in some institutions to disrupt exams. We also wish to express our solidarity to those students, small as, their number as it may be, who have been wanting to write but have not been able to write because they've been intimidated or upset by some of the tactics that have been used to disrupt our institutions.
But otherwise, we are satisfied. And as I say, those 6 of our institutions have finished. We continue to monitor the situation to make sure that all exams are indeed successfully concluded for the 2016 academic year. Noma ngabe uthini Shandu, noma ungangikhomba ngezandla, bayabhala abafundi bakithi.
The next supplementary question is to be asked by the Honorable Bozoli.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, the delay in exams has seriously affected a very important constituency, students in the medical field. Final year students who are unable to register by the 1st of January won't be able to find placements, and this will affect them, and it will affect the medical system, which is already short of staff. So what are you doing to assist these students to get them on track to become registrars, and are you working with the Minister of Health to see that patient care is not affected by this? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. First of all, as I have said, we are doing everything to ensure that those who want to finish, write exams, do their practicals, are able to do that. As I have said so far, we are satisfied as a department that our institutions have done their best. Rather than generalizing, Honorable Bozoli, where you know students, medical students, who are threatened by the fact that they may not be able to meet some of their requirements, give us the details, and I can assure you we will deal with those irrespective of which member of parliament is actually raising them. Thank you very much.
Chair, could I just ask the Minister to control his testosterone? Thank you.
No, Honorable Member, I did not even recognize you. You are now acting contrary to the rules that you know very well. The Honorable Mbata.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chairperson.
Honorable Mbata.
Honorable Minister Bambu.
Honorable Mbata, may I just take this, give the Minister an opportunity. The Minister has risen. Why are you rising, Honorable Minister?
I'm rising on a point of order.
What is the point of order, Honorable Member?
The point of order is an Honorable Bozoli able to measure the testosterone of
No,
Minister
Honorable
of Higher Education?
Minister.
Why and where and when
Honorable
can
Minister,
we have all of those answers?
that is not a point of order. That's not a point of order. Honorable Mbata.
Bambu budoda bakho lapho ngaphesheya mphephethu. Mphephethu bengithi angibuze la ukuthi uyalazi iqiniso ukuthi izinkulungwane zabantu abasha akade beqala unyaka wokuqala kuma universities and universities of technology kube nako ukushokeka ngokwempilo uma kuqala istrike. Okucacayo ukuthi kungenzeka ukuthi baye abanye ukuyobhala benqanqazela. Okubhlungu ke ukuthi mhlambe ngenzeka ukuthi njengama beneficiaries okuqala ka NSFAS ama conditions athi mabe faila bashona ngaphansi. Ngoba uNSFAS akakuthathwa kwesibili uma ufailile kunyaka wokuqala. Ngithi angibuze mhlawumbe ukuthi kukhona yini usizo nalo mphephetho lapho esikhwameni sakho.
The Honorable Minister.
I think, Honorable Chair, in light of these follow-ups, maybe it's not fair. It's unparliamentary what Honorable Bozoli has said. Can you please ask her to withdraw? Because if I had heard a similar thing, I would have accused of being a sexist.
Honorable Bozoli. Where is the Honorable Bozoli? Honorable Bozoli, will you withdraw that remark, please? No. Will you withdraw it, please? Honorable Bozoli, just withdraw the remark, please.
No, I fully withdraw.
Thank you.
So to speak.
Honorable Minister.
Ngifuna ukuthi ke kuwena Shandu. Njengoba bengishilo ukuthi sibambisene nezikhungo zethu. Kodwa ekugcineni izona izikhungo ezaziyo ukuthi uma ngabe abafundi bebhale ngaphansi kwalezimo kwaphaswa kangaka kuye kube nezindlela zokubhekelela ukuthi cishe bekukhona into eyonakele kakhulu nanokuthi ke leyo nto ingalungiswa kanjani. Akumina ngingama la ngithi ngibhekelele yini. Okwesibili akulona iqiniso ukuthi abafundi abangaphasi unyaka wokuqala kuNSFAS bakhishelwa ngaphandle kuya ngokuthi ufeyile kangakanani. Bese izikhungo zikwazi ukuthi zibhekeleleke ukuthi cha makungekubanga kakhulu sisengakwazi ukuthi lo mfundi sibuye simsize. Akunjengoba usho noma ke singaku gcizelela nje indaba yokuthi abafundi bangaphasi kodwa kukhona ukubonelela okuye kube khona kuye ngokuthi umfundi wenze kangakanani. Ngifuna ukusho sihlalo ukuthi sikhathazekile njengoba bengishilo ukuthi kukhona abafundi ababhale ngaphansi kwengcindezi. Uyayazi ke Shandu lengcindezi engikhuluma ngayo. Uyazi kahle kakhulu wena ukudlula wonke omunye umuntu. Ngiyabonga sihlalo.
Honorable members, there's one more opportunity for a supplementary question.
Honorable House Chair.
Honorable Honorable Mbata, my apologies.
I have a point of order.
What is a point of order, Honorable Member?
The Honorable Minister there is making an assertion that I've got intimate details of all the plans done by the students. Can you withdraw that?
Honorable Minister.
There is nothing to withdraw because he knows intimately about this because he's a member of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education and Training.
No, thank you, Honorable Minister. I'm glad to see the members of that committee is on top of the situation. Honorable members, we now go to the next question, question number 312, that has been asked by the Honorable Davis to the Minister of Basic Education. The Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks. So the answer is yes, the department has ensured that all statutory reports and plans due to be tabled in Parliament are submitted timeously and in line with the stipulated time frames of the oversight structures of Parliament. All statutory plans and reports are considered for final quality assurance before they're submitted to the oversight bodies, including parliamentary structures. And the ministry does table these reports because of their importance and also appreciating the importance of accountability in the sector. Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable Davis.
Thank you, Chairperson. The National Education Evaluation and Development Unit, or NEDU, was set up in 2009 as an independent unit to evaluate our school system. NEDU produced two excellent reports in 2012 and 2013 that give a very frank assessment of what's going wrong in our schools and how things can be turned around. The problem is that it's now near the end of 2016 and the 2014 report has still not seen the light of day. But what has seen the light of day is this email that I hold in my hand, written by the acting CEO of NEDU, in which he tells his staff about a meeting he had with Minister Mochecha. And the CEO's email confirms our suspicion that the 2014 NEDU report is being suppressed for political reasons. It says that the minister told him to stop reporting on what is going wrong in the system. It says that the minister told him to suspend all school visits. And it says that NEDU must, in the minister's word, be brought closer to the department. So my question to the minister is, why are you interfering with the independence of NEDU? And will you commit yourself to tabling the 2014 report, an uncensored version of that report, in this House in the next 6 months? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
It's difficult when people start working on gossips and reports that we have not seen. And this member is a member of the Portfolio Committee. If he had questions about the reports of NEDU, we could have asked the Commission if he really meant to be quite correct. So just to get to the answer, just to answer him, Chair, when it says need reports don't see the light of day, I don't know which light of day that they need to see, because the reports for the department to get information on what they need to do, and we have been implementing the recommendations, but because they're commissioned by us for us to use in the department, not for him to get into a gossiping exercise with the CEO. Never spoke to me about our discussion, writes him a letter and doesn't, so I can't answer the letter stories. But the truth of the matter is we are using NIDU reports, and reports don't necessarily have to come to Parliament to be used. NIDU was, and the separation just for his benefit. The issue about the closeness of NIDU to the department, it's an instruction from Treasury that we should not set up too many parallel structures. So it's not even my decision. So instead, the member, really to be gracious, let him bring the document, let's talk about it. And when I table it, it's not, I don't work under his instruction. If he wants a NIDU report, he must work through the portfolio committee or whatever structures, but it should not bring me gossiping letters and think that through the gossips, then he can instruct me when to bring the report. I think it's unfortunate, and I won't do it that way. I'll do it properly.
The next supplementary question is to be asked by the Honorable Khoza of the ANC.
Siyabonga sihlalo. Sifuna kubonga kuminister ukuthi litiko lakhe libonakele lisebenta kakhulu. Ngato tonke tikhatsi sakhona kwadlulisa ema report lawa labekadzingekile. High quality ledzingekile. Apart from the statutory reports, Minister, we have seen the minister constituting the ministerial task team on a number of issues within the sector. How is the minister following up on the recommendations of such? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister.
Joba ngicacile nje phambidlana ukuthi ama report masiwathola acommissioner yithi oba khona ukuthile sifuna ukukwazi and amaningi lama report esiwacommissionayo ngayenza i-commission report ye-caps basi-advisor sayisebenzisa ngayenza i-commission i-maths ixaka singasikwenzakalani basipha ama-recommendations sawasebenzisa so angeke sichithe imali kahulumeni sithi kwenza ama-report sigcine singawasebenzisi. So naye le NIDU report naye lo CEO ohamba manje sehleba ngakhuluma naye ngathi usitshela into esizaziyo sitshela into esingayazi ezosiza ukuthi sephambili kula things sixake khona because ufuna ukwenza umathanda asitshela into esizaziyo.
The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honorable Mashabela.
Thanks, Chair. Minister,
Honorable Member, you are not the Honorable Mashabela.
I'm taking the question on her behalf.
Yes, but you should indicate that you want to take the follow-up question. It's a follow-up question. It's not a question in her name, but you may proceed, Honorable Member.
Okay. Minister, do you personally take Parliament as a constitutional institution meant to make the executive account seriously now? If yes, why have you not only ensured that reports are tabled in Parliament, but also that you personally attend departmental briefings to the Portfolio Committee and account here in the National Assembly whenever needed? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister.
Chair, kidinga kaofela the commission the report ka boikarabelo bo felletseng ke tseba ka botlalo ra se kgetho yaka hore ke inkele qeto ya hore ke eng e bohlokwa ka parlamente mme ha ke bitsitse hore ke tlo araba ke araba ka boikokobetso bo felletseng so monghadi kapa yena ntate a bua mo ke mhlomko re ha tsebe o emetse me mashaba hana le teng na tla paka hore ke nka committee ka bo ka tlhompho le boikokobetso bo felletseng tate.
Honorable van der Walt, next supplementary question.
Thank you, Chair. The DA is deeply concerned by the Minister's claim that the Jobs for Cash report is not about SAT2, despite it being mentioned 694 times in the report, which clearly finds that SAT2 has de facto control 6 of the 9 provinces. The report must be tabled in Parliament as required by the National Assembly Guide to Procedure and Section 92 of the Constitution, so that this House can deliberate on the reports, findings and recommendations and agree on a way forward. When will the Minister table the Jobs for Cash report in Parliament? If not, why not?
The Honourable Minister.
It's so funny the way you are predictable. Actually, I had written an answer on the Jobs for Cash because I thought your colleague was going to raise it. So there's a curveball coming from you because I knew that was the issue. So there is, shut up.
No, Honourable Minister.
I withdraw. You can sit down. I withdraw.
Yes, thank you.
Come on.
Order. Honourable members. Order, honourable members.
So, Chair,
Honourable members, let's give the Minister an opportunity.
I apologize. Why is he?
Chair, the point is that she just...
No, honourable member, I haven't recognized you. What is your point of order?
My point of order is that the Minister told the Chief Whip of the Opposition to sit down. That's
No,
not
honourable
her
member,
job.
please. The Minister has withdrawn. Continue, honourable Minister.
Chair, as I'm saying, the opposition is so predictable, it's not funny. So I knew that the report is not about SATU. We've raised it in the commission, and there's no difficulty to bring the report. All the members have to say, because I don't decide which reports come here, but if members through the committee say they want to debate the report, that's fine. So they should not make an issue because of their obsession and this fixation about SATU. The report is not about SATU, it's about the selling of posts, and there's nothing to hide. And that's why it's on our website.
Order, honourable members. That completes the question with the 4 supplementary questions. Question number 285 has been asked by the Honourable Chauke to the Minister of Water and Sanitation. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair, Deputy Speaker, and thanks, Honourable Chauke. Swart Regens and Burulelo are supplied with potable water from the Swart Regens water treatment plant. Raw water to this plant is supplied from the dam and augmented from a spring source in the Polka dry sprait. This source is unreliable. It sometimes runs dry in periods of extreme drought, and farmers are contesting the water use. The following alternative water sources have been identified to augment this challenged supply. And these are importing raw water from Lindleysport Dam, increasing of the Swart Regens dam wall and overflow to increase the basin capacity. Importing water from the Dolomite area some 40 kilometers to the south of town through our acid mine drainage water purification system, reusing treated sewage effluent, but also taking advantage of some of the dams surrounding Rustenburg that might provide relief to supply both Koster and Swart Regens. These are the Bosport, the Falkop, and the Olifant's Neck Dam. To date, the solutions numbered above have taken the situation forward. The Dolomitic area has been tested and results are positive in terms of quantity and quality. Once funds are confirmed, the pipeline will also be constructed with extreme urgency and can be completed within 4 months of commencement. This is but one of our own rehabilitation program of the aged infrastructure in the area of Swart Regens. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Chauke.
No, kia leboga minister ki lebogela karabo ya gago. Swart Regens ke mo constituency ya ka ileng ko teng. Ke mo ke berekang teng bosiu le motsheare. Baagi ba plekele ga bana metsi minister ra tseba hore lefapha le tsere boikarabelo ba go tsenella mo le ka ditraka go leka go thusa baagi ba Swart Regens ka metsi. Se ke batlang go se tseba minister ke gore ana madia a tlotsa nako e kae gore a fitlhe o kgone go tsweledisa pele lenaneo le la go fa batho metsi. Sa bobedi se ke batlang go se tseba ke gore ana masepala wa Kgetleng e le gore ke masepala o le tlasa tsamaiso ya ANC o kreileng clean audit ka financial year ya gona yanong. Re ba thusa jwang go bereka le bona, re tsamaisane le bona gore baagi ba mole ba tsebe gore puso e ya ANC go na le sengwe se se etsang gore ba kreye metsi. Ke a leboga minister.
The Honourable Minister.
A ke tse tšhono le nna ke itebogele. Sa ntlha ke gore Kgetleng ke masepala o mongwe o bontshitseng ditlhabologo mo dingwageng tse fetileng. ke ka moo go bonagetseng gape le ka dikarabo tse di tlhagang mo go Auditor General gore ba itse go tshwara ditšhelete tse ba di filweng go di dirisetsa setšhaba. Sa bobedi, ba mo ditekong tsa gore ba nne le bokgoni le boitsanape ba banna le basadi ba ba dirang mo go ona masepala o. Tlhokafalo ya metsi mo bo masepaleng ba tshwanang le bo Kgetleng ka mo gare ga bodulo ba Swartregens go diragetse ka baka la gore mo dingwageng tse dintsintsi tse fitileng go ne go sena lenaneo la go tlisa metsi a tswang mo dipompong mo bathong ba rona. Mo nakong e khutshwanyane re tsentse letsogo la gore re tsamaise metsi ka di-water tank, re bankanye di-boreholes teng foo, mme fela se se leng botlhokwa ke se o se buang gore ga fela lefapha la tsa ditšhelete le ka dumela gore le re neye madi a re dumelaneng gore a tlamegile gore a tle mo go rona, re ka itse gore re dirise go ya pele bonnyane bo re setseng re na le bone. Re bua gompieno re setse re simolotse ka bonnyane bo re nang le bona gore go nne le di-master plan for Kgetleng municipality le gore re bankanye di-boreholes, and once National Treasury has confirmed the transfer of the money, we will then overhaul the entire water infrastructure system of Kgetleng. And we must commend that municipality. It was one of the municipalities under the Back to Basics program, and they have indeed turned around their capacity under the leadership of the ANC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The next supplementary question is to be asked by the Honourable Majeke.
I may not be Majeke, Deputy Chair.
Honourable Member,
but,
before I allow you, may I just repeat what I said to the member of the EFF as well? Please make sure that you indicate that you want to take the follow-up question, because the primary question is not in your name.
Thank you, Chair. I pressed the wrong button because I took a position close to the mic. And when I stretched my hand, I pressed the wrong button.
Continue, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, I hope that you'll be most accommodative to my question. In the context of your plausible principle of supplying water, making water provision in an integrated fashion in South Africa, and considering the fact that water is an economic driver, a source of life, and particularly in the poverty-stricken area of OR Tambo. The big thing that has been a big promise there is the construction of the Mzimvubu Dam, which has been in the pipeline for over 10 years, Honorable Minister. Now, in September 2015, you made a very, very healthy and welcome promise that very soon construction will start. And this was on the backdrop of a promise that had been made a little earlier in 2014 by the Honorable President. When will this construction actually start? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, and thanks for this question. In fact, Mzimvubu dates as far back as your PW Botha era, including your Matanzim. And what has been a challenge has been, one, the absence of a coherent plan on how to take that project forward. What has since happened is that we now have a professional service provider who has done designs of the two dams. And on those designs, there's been an agreement that we will have to start with the Lalini Dam. The Lalini Dam will actually assist us in releasing the potential in that part of our country. Because this project stands a possibility of being one of the mega projects in the country. It is one of those projects that constitute a binational agreement between the People's Republic of China and the South African government. What we have now since done, we have also appointed people who are now doing the grading and the clearance of site. We are now being assisted by Minister Guki Lenkwinti to get the title deeds because of the different owners of pockets of land. We have an uptake agreement with the Chinese construction company that are also going to be the co-funders, because it can't only be funded through fiscus, Because part of what we want to do is to inject economic development in that area, which would also include the development of hydro on the second dam. So this is where we are, and I appreciate that the honorable member has raised this issue. Before the end of this year, we will be meeting. President Zuma has advised us together with Minister Nkwinti and Minister
Thank you, Honourable
Van
Minister.
Rooyen
Your
to
time is now
interact with the
expired.
traditional leaders in the Eastern Cape. I thank you.
The Honourable Shavambu.
Thank you, Chair. You know, like when the minister speaks, you think that she's making sense, and that is exactly how she spoke when we asked a question before about water in Guyana. She spoke like that, and there's no water in Guyana. We're talking here today. Even on the question of South-Dragons, there's no water, there's not going to be any water there. In 2014, when we arrived here, we asked the president of the ANC, who's being questioned, his integrity is being questioned by majority of the sensible ministers in his own cabinet, on when is he going to give water to Guyana and all the affected areas in Jozini and everywhere else. And he said by the end of 2014, water will be there.
Honourable Shavambu, will you just take your seat, please? Honourable Shavambu, will you just take your seat, please? Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
Honourable House Chair, I rise because in terms of Rule 85.1, first and foremost, in fact, there are two things. The first one, Honourable or Mr., because I don't even think he is Honourable, Mr. Shibambu, that's my opinion, is
Honourable
Mr.
Member.
Shibambu
Honourable
is
Member, you are
impugning-
also now out of order and you must take your seat, please. Please take your seat. What is the follow-up question, Honourable Member? You have a few seconds left for your follow-up question.
Why should we trust what Nomvula is saying about water when throughout we've been
Honourable
told
Member.
that water is going to come and water has not been going to all these
Honourable
areas?
Shavambu.
Why should we consider even like
Will you
listening
address
to that
the
and
Honourable
pass
Member correctly?
throughout? Yes, well, Mrs. Nomvula.
Honourable Member, let us just address
Well,
each other
Mrs.
properly.
Mokonyan,
Thank you.
why should we trust here? Because we are told here every time that water is coming before the end
And
of
your
the year.
time is now
In 2014,
expired,
it was
Honourable
said
Member.
that 2014 water is coming.
Thank you.
2015 water is coming, and all the areas
Thank you, Honourable Member.
where the commitments are being made, there's
Honourable
no
Shavambu,
water
your time
which
is
has arrived
expired.
there. I think we must take
Honourable
serious
Member,
action on the
your
people
time
who
is
come and lie
expired.
here in Parliament
I'm now
about
switching off
water
your
and not
mic.
do anything about it. It's
Thank
an
you.
issue that must be taken up seriously.
Take your seat, Honourable Member. The Honourable Minister.
I will take serious exception if I can be trusted by the EFF. I refuse to be commended by them. They are the last. Even when I think they are saying hot air, because nonetheless, he assumes he's the only one who knows Guyana. We know Guyana. Our people are there. There are communities that have water. We're sorting out the mess we have inherited from some of your own business people who worked in Guyana. We have even made a commitment that we are not dealing only with emergency in Guyana. Go and look at that hospital that your leader went to during elections thinking he'll find a surprise. It is
Order, Chair.
functioning, it has water
Order, Chair.
supplied. I'm
Honourable
not going to
Minister.
be threatened
Order,
by you.
Chair.
I know my
Honourable
job, and I
Minister.
don't wish to be commended by you,
Order,
not to be
Chair.
trusted by your
Minister.
Order,
friends.
Chair.
Thank you.
Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
I'm rising on point 92 out of order. Ms. Nomvula Nongonyane is referring to other areas. We're talking about Guyana as a whole does not have water. She's talking about
Honourable
certain
Member,
areas.
that's not a
and
point
she's
of
not
order.
responding to Guyana as a whole.
No, Honourable Member. The Honourable Basson.
Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Basson, I see a plethora of hands. And the one who's standing up did not put up his hand.
On a point of order,
I'm
Chairperson.
recognizing the member who's sitting next to you. His hand up was up first.
He's handing over that to
No,
me
he's-
as the
he
chief.
didn't. He was quite.
going to do
He's
that.
quite prepared to take it. He was prepared to get up.
Tell them, Commissar.
I see my responsibility to Honourable
Honourable members.
On a point of order.
Before you continue,
On a point of-
Honourable Shavambu, before you continue.
Yes.
Okay, let us just make sure that when there is a point of order from any political party, that the whips who's assigned to take points of order do so. and that other members do not then decide later to hand it over to the whip anyway. It looks clumsy. Continue, Honorable Member.
Look, we are not here to commend mediocrity and people who come and tell untruths here. So we'll
is
never
the point
give any
of order?
comments to the Minister of Water Affairs because there's
Honorable
nothing
Member,
that is happening.
what is the
we hear
point
every
of
day is
order?
lies. But what do we do as Parliament? When people come into their house, say that there's going to be
Honorable
water
Member, that's not the point of
by
order.
the end of the year, and water is not
Honorable
there.
Member,
And then when you ask
that
them follow-up questions,
is not
they still make
a
the same
point
commitment.
of order.
What do we do about
Will you
such
now
people?
take your seat, please?
But what do we do about
It's not a point of order. Take your seat, please. Thank you. Take your seat, please. Take your seat. I'm going to take the next supplementary question now. No, Honorable
Chair.
Member, you can't have multiple hands on exactly the same point. I've ruled that it's not a point of order, so I'm just going to give this member the opportunity to hear what she has to say, so that if it's in the same line, then it's already been ruled upon, and I'm not going to revisit it. Honorable Member, why are you rising?
The treatment that we get here is misleading. Parliament is a place where we have to be honest. We cannot be misled and say nothing.
What is the point of order?
The point of order is that the minister is misleading the House and the nation. There is no water in Guyana, there is no water in
Honorable Member.
Where she went with
Honorable
the
Member,
president
you
to
are
open
now
a dam.
repeating
She
exactly-
is misleading the House.
Take your
we cannot
seat,
sit
please.
back and say she is talking the truth.
Please
She's
take your
misleading.
seat.
She's being dishonest.
Honorable Member, take your seat. What you should do is, if you feel the way that you do in terms of misleading the House or not, you must submit a substantive motion to us so that we can deal with that issue. It's not good enough if you did not hear what you wanted to hear in the reply that you necessarily say the member is misleading the House. Submit a substantive motion, please.
Chair?
Yes, Honorable Member.
No, Chair, we are talking about the basic needs here, which is water.
No, Honorable Member, that's
we
not the point of
can't
order. Take
allow
your
her
seat,
to
please.
come and mislead her.
I'm going to
No.
switch off your mic
We
now.
want water in
I've
Guyana,
made
full
a
stop.
ruling, and the ruling stand. I will not change it. The Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, this is not a new problem, and your department was informed in 2013 that Swartruggens will soon be without water. The Council of Getling River Municipality on the 16th of October declared the area a disaster area. I wrote to your DG on the 20th of October 2015 to intervene. After the Portfolio Committee in September this year went for oversight, then you come up with plans. That's why the Portfolio Committee sent away your people today, your department today, back to Pretoria because they don't come up with plans. So, Minister, we are fed up waiting and listening at plans. When are we going to get action, and when are we going to see water in Swartruggens?
The Honorable Minister.
I also get fed up with people who want to co-govern with us. I get fed up.
Order, Honorable Members.
I want to state here that it is per our own advice. The national department only intervenes directly in a municipality once a municipality takes a council resolution and declares that disaster. Just listen. Listen. Upon them having agreed.
Order, Honorable Members.
Point of order.
Upon them having agreed.
Point of order, Chair.
Honorable Minister, will you just take your seat? What is a point of order, Honorable Member?
In my statement, I indicated that the Council took that resolution on the 16th of October
Let's
2015.
ask, Honorable Member, let's give the Minister an opportunity to reply to your follow-up question.
That is precisely the need for him to listen. They took a council resolution on the 16th of October. Listen, listen. They took a council resolution. They then have to go and do their own plan that will then call upon the MEC for COCTA to then present before their cabinet so that then they can then agree together with their district on how then these issues can be elevated. Throughout, we had to then look, we can't just pour money into the problem. Upon them having sorted out this matter, because he knows very well that municipalities are water service authorities, and it is on those bases that you only
Honourable
intervene when
Minister,
everything has been sorted out.
let me just take this
Thank
point
you.
of order. Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
Honourable Chair, is it parliamentary for the Minister to point to amendments say he points out?
Honourable members, we have different mannerisms of speak, but what I would like to do is to request everyone, whether it is a minister replying to a question or a member asking the supplementary question, to address the chair. Honourable Minister.
Presiding officer, everybody knows that municipality is a water service authority. It has to cede over the authority. It doesn't happen overnight, because tomorrow they will be saying it's unauthorized expenditure. Nonetheless, it is not about whether you come and grandstand here. It is about making interventions. We have made interim interventions from last year. We are now having a plan that we are now
Thank you, Honourable
implementing.
Minister.
Thank you
Your time
very
is
much.
now expired. The next question number, order, Honourable members. Order. Question 297 has been asked by the Honourable Kapa to the Minister of Social Development. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Drugs and gangs are the twin challenges confronting many of our communities throughout the country. You will agree with me that to successfully tackle these challenges, our interventions must start with the most basic unit in our communities, the family. Aside from the family, there should also be initiatives from schools and the community as a whole, because everyone should be involved in the fight against substance abuse and gangsterism. It should be community-driven initiative. More particularly because the issues of drugs are structural. Sometimes they thrive where there is poverty. Based on this approach, the department has developed the anti-gangsterism strategy for secure care facilities to cater for children in conflict with the law. The strategy is built on 4 pillars, namely human development, social partnership, spatial design, and criminal justice process. The overriding pillar of the strategy is multi-partnership approach aimed at creating safe living spaces within communities. For this reason, we are encouraging municipalities to establish and implement local drug action committees. As such structures empower communities to respond through various initiatives such as Kimoja, I'm fine without drugs. But also we call upon young people to come up with grand themes that will be able to catch fire and go with times, because maybe Kimoja is as old as Matabile. The Central Drug Authority Committee, yeah, I was in the facility actually when they said I was drunk. The Central Drug Authority is a multi-sectoral structure established to advise Cabinet on plans and measures to combat the scourge. The National Drug Master Plan 2013 to 2017 is a blueprint endorsed by a number of departments as well as our partners. so as to ensure that we enhance our national effort in tackling these challenges. To this end, Cabinet established the Interministerial Committee to combat the scourge of alcohol and substance abuse in South Africa. The IMC has developed its program of action, which supports the multi-sectoral approach focusing on prevention through community mobilization, because prevention is the most basic and important element of this program. Chairperson, we have developed a number of programs and policies to deal with the twin challenges of drugs and gangsterism. But we have stated before, policies and programs are not enough on their own. We need greater cooperation and collaboration, but also the way we talk on the issues of drugs, like using the word or the caption war on drugs, has failed. Because if you talk about a war, people interpret that differently. We also need to come up with strategies that are going to help us get into the minds and hearts of our communities. Strategies that are going to help deal with the issues of addiction, gang violence, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Is there a supplementary question? The Honourable Kapa.
Ndiyabulela kakhulu sihlalo ndiyayibulisa indlu ngembeko enkulu. Mandiphakame ndibulele kakhulu umphathiswa ohloniphekileyo ngalenkcaza. Kukhona nje isolontyana endinqwenela ukulibuza ukuba kubonakala ngathi ke ulutsha luyasabela kweli khwelo lihle kangaka. Okwesibini ibe kukuba ingaba nina ningulomkhosi wokuba ulwe nale migulukudu. Niyakwazi ukuba nibe nabo abantu abangongoti abakwazi ukuphanda ama-researchers ukwenzela uba sazi uba ntloboni yeziyobisi esetyenziswayo. Ndiyabulela kakhulu.
The Honourable Minister.
Ongoti esebenza nabo abala ekhaya, abanye basebenza ku Drug Action Committee, abanye basebenza ku Medical Research Council ngoba amanye ama-drug mangabe vela njengonyawupe kuthatha isikhathi ukuthi ibhaliswe njenge-drug ngoba ifaka i-Retex, no jig, no vim. So faneke enilwe kuze ekuvumeleke ukuthi okay, i-drug le iyababulala abantu bethu. Abanye abezizwe zonke ababona ukuthi kwenzekani umhlaba wonke. Isinqumo noma isincomo esikhona njengamanje esasidingida esizoya ezweni lonke siyodingidwa eMzantsi Afrika ukuthi kuxoxiswane ngembono emisha ephumayo yokulwa nezidakamizwa, njengokuthi ohulumeni abaningi bathatha imali yabo bondle abantu abasebenzisa izidakamizwa bese bondla nemndeni yabo. And umbono velayo ekomitini lezizwe zonke ukuthi yini indaba labantu bangasebenzi mangabe beza ukuthi esebefuna ukuyobhema baphume bayobhema ngaphandle benza imigilingwane yabo bagqize amathe bese beyabuyela bayosebenza. Umbono lowo usazoxoxwa i-Central Drug Action Committee.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Ngiyabonga.
Honourable members, I just see one name here for a supplementary question. So those members wishing to do so must please indicate and press the button in front of you. The Honourable Sonti, your name is here. You may ask the question.
Yabonga Chairperson. Minister, igangsterism indlela ekhule ngayo ibangwa phofu indlala imfundo engekho mgangathweni nomsebenzi onqongopheleyo zonke nje siphelisa ithemba kulutsha banomsindo ngenxa lenhlupheko engapheliyo apha eKapa iziyobisi sixhaphakile kakhulu kwezi ndawo zabantu abahluphekileyo yonke ke le meko siyayazi ukuba ayihoyekanga nguwe wena we-ANC nawe wena we-DA uthi ke umbuzo minister ngaphandle nje ke kokujongelwa emapoliseni ungathatha eyiphi inxaxheba njengorhulumente nanjengoko senditshilo okokubana isizathu sesibangela lama gangster yindlala enkosi.
The Honourable Minister.
Ngiyabonga bengazi ke kodwa ukuthi iDA usuyibala nathi ngoba nihamba nonke.
Order, Chair.
Siyavuma.
Honourable Minister, let me find out what this point of order is about.
Can you ask the minister to withdraw the thing as hambing at DA? ANC voted the DA
Honourable member.
No, Chair.
That's
no,
not
no.
a point of order.
It is. She must withdraw.
That is a matter of debate.
She
It's a
must
matter
withdraw.
of speech. No,
In
Honourable member.
Canaland, ANC voted with DA.
I rule that the member,
No,
the
she must
minister
withdraw that.
doesn't need to
No, she
withdraw
must
that. It's a
withdraw
political
that.
statement,
You
Honourable member.
voted with DA in
Will you take your
Canaland.
seat
You
now,
as
Honourable
ANC.
member?
So
Please
now what
take
is
your
your
seat.
problem?
Please take your seat now. Honourable member, why is your hand up?
On a point of order, Chair, the other thing is that it's because the ANC is corrupt.
No, Honourable member, please take your seat. Please take your seat. I've ruled on this matter. I'm now switching off your mic.
Which is corrupt.
I'm switching off your mic, Honourable member. I've ruled on the matter. Honourable Minister.
Angazi ke kwenzekani eTshwane nase.
Honourable Minister. Honourable members, can we give the minister a chance to respond? Can we give the minister a chance? You've asked your follow-up question.
Ndicela uresponda kule nto ayithethayo minister.
No, honourable member. The rules doesn't allow for that. Can you take your seat, please?
Ndifuna uresponda.
Take your seat, please.
Ndim abeyithetha le nto.
Honourable member, please take your seat.
Ndim lo bekayithetha le
Honourable
nto.
member, please take your seat.
Uzondinika chance.
Take your seat, honourable member. The minister is busy replying to the supplementary question that you have asked.
No, Chairperson.
I'm switching off your mic now.
Kodwa unedolo.
Take your seat, please. Let's allow the minister to respond to your question. The honourable minister.
Siyavumelana nokuthi indaba zobuxhwangu zihambisana nendlala. Yiko sithe ezinye izinto zegangsterism ne-drug abuse zithrive where there is poverty. And lezo zinto zi-structural. Okwesibili siyavumelana ukuthi ulusha luneyinkinga. Kodwa futhi mawubheke Eldorado Park, ubheka eEasteras, ubheka la eWestern Cape noma eCape Town, ulusha futhi oluyisukumele. Abanye bayimisela ukuthi balwisane naloku. Eldorado Park bakhe ama committee, street committee or area committee. Iesteras bayisukumele bona bacela ukuyiswa kuma treatment center. Lana eWestern Cape nabo futhi bayisukumele bathi bayimisele ukulwa kanye nezidakamizwa nokubulawa kwabantu. And into ebalekile futhi labantwana abasukumayo abasukumi ngoba be-ANC ngoba
Honourable
beyi-DA.
Minister, your time is now expired. The next supplementary question is to be asked by the Honourable Wilson.
Thank you, House Chair. Minister, it's common knowledge that the Western Cape currently runs 6 facilities dedicated to providing treatment for alcohol and drug addiction, run in accordance with the matrix model of treatment. The city is also providing clinic and community health centers which assist the treatment of addiction. They have even developed specialized crime prevention units focusing on priority crimes such as gangsterism. And yet in Limpopo, a rehab center completed 2 years ago has not opened due to operational costs not being budgeted for. In line with your commitment last month to spend 3 months intensively dealing with these issues and those raised by the CDA, please advise what progress has been made in bringing the other provinces to the same level as the Western Cape. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Kumele ke ngempela ke iWestern Cape ibe nohlelo olunje. Kodwa futhi okwesibili uhulumeni wenze icommitment wakha ama-center iSouth Africa yonke ngoba khona indawo ekade zingenawo ama-center. Okunye uHonourable Member Wilson uyasazi isabelo seyimali ukuthi ihamba kanjani. Ilona ikomiti ekumele lisincedise ngoba siripotile kulona ukuthi inkinga yokuthi singaqali ngeinhlelo zethu eLimpopo ukuthi sinikiwe imali yezakhiwo kodwa imali yeprogram yesakhiwo ayikho, and uma ngabe ungaqala isakhiwo ungalandeli inqubo ekufanele ukuthi so Mrs. Wilson
Honourable Minister, just address the chairperson and do not get distracted by the
Chairperson,
objections.
and okunye kubalekile ukuthi over and above izakhiwo, there are organizations that a government is funding that are driving the program on alcohol and substance abuse throughout the country. But what is also important is that sifuna wonke umuntu osebenza ngalolu daba abhalise abe semthethweni asebenze nama local drug action committee, kungakhiwa ezinye izakhiwo ezibheke eceleni ezenza ezinye izinto uhulumeni angavumelani nazo ezidulayo futhi ezithatha abantwana for isikhathi esincane bese bephinda babuyele emuva. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The Honourable Schlengwa.
Ngiyathokoza sihlalo malandela lenselelo yokusebenziswa kwezidakamizwa kanye nalemgulukudu okhuluma ngayo lenza umkhulu umonakalo le emphakathini yakithi kakhulukazi eindaweni zasemakhaya, kakhulukazi lapho zingekho khona nezikhungo zamaphoyisa okwenza ukuthi imgulukudu le bese ke iyaluza kalula nje nangokusheshsha. Manje ke inkinga ukuthi emakhaya khona nogogo abahlala bodwa, khona nezingane ezihlala zodwa bese beyithuka ke sebeyithola ke sebeyisu zokudlwengulwa nodlame. Ngabe ke uyakuthola yini ukuseko kwanele kule inhlelo okhuluma ngazo zokuqinisekisa ukuthi ezokuphepha endaweni zasemakhaya zifike ezingeni elifanele ukuze ikakhulukazi laba bakhulile kanye nezingane zodwa zingayitholi sesiyisu zodlame. Second, Honourable Minister, idle hands are the devil's playground, and the increasing levels of unemployment in the country, which is 27%, surely there is a link between the two. So what interventions are you making to impress on the government to ensure that the economy grows
Honourable
and
Member,
creates jobs in
your
order to
time is
assist
now
you
expired.
to deal with this particular problem? Ngiyathokoza Sibalukhulu.
The Honourable Minister.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu lunga elihloniphekile. inhlelo lezi ilunga elibuza ngazo zokulwa nokungaqashwa kwabantu singabuya siumnyango sizoyithula la ngoba sinazo inhlelo zama cooperative. Okwesibili amaphoyisa mangabe sesikhuluma iqiniso iwona empeleni alibambile nawo iqhaza elikhulukazi njengokuthi eindaweni lahlala kuzona kakhulukazi zasemakhaya kunama factory la kubhakwa khona ama-drug amaphoyisa ayitholayo kodwa futhi naphansi eindaweni la sixakeke khona amaphoyisa into aseyenzile ukuthi mangabe kune police station ejwayelekile njengase Eldorado Park yayekwa kwalethwa abantu abayispecial abazobhekana nayo lenkinga yama drugs nanokuthi umsebenzi obalekile ekufanele siwenze sonke ukwenza isiqiniseko ukuthi i-drug action committee zikhona yonke indawo la sihlala khona sizosebenza sonke ukuvikela umphakathi and kumele sisho nje futhi ukuthi akufuneki vele ukudlwengula ogogo nentsha into ekumele ilwiswe kakhulu leyo. Ngiyabonga.
That concludes question number 297. I now get to question 316. Yes, why are you rising on the member?
A point of order with regards to question 316. That what rule establishes this trend of not mentioning the names whose questions are being asked about? Because the question, the detail of it there says that the illegal removal of a certain person, name finished, and we do not know what is happening. We also want to know what is the name of the person. If not, it must at least be explained to as to what rule says that we must not mention people's names. Parliament is supposed to be the most free space in terms
No, thank you, Honourable Member.
We are protected in terms
In terms of the rules, Honourable Members, when it comes to questions of this nature, it's a standard operating procedure in Parliament that the names of those individuals, especially those that is currently under scrutiny and investigation, is not mentioned in the question for the specific reason that no final conclusion has been reached on the matter. It can seriously prejudice the individual or the individuals or the bodies concerned if their names are inserted into those questions, and it can even jeopardize the work that is being done by the relevant authorities in finalizing the matter.
Chairperson, I asked for the specific rule that establishes that practice. I thought that when we dealt with the rules process here, we're dealing with the principal position that we must not rely on people's memories that, no, this is the memory of how things are done. Can we be shown the rules that says that names cannot be mentioned?
Thank you, Honourable Member.
And then at least we'll then be able to understand that
Thank
we
you.
cannot mention the names. So that we know, because we are excluding the rest of us who have not been finished with their names and the details.
Honourable Shavambu, you've made the point.
And it's wrong to disadvantage us.
Honourable
So
Shavambu.
please give us the name. in your
Honourable
response,
Shavambu, you have made
or
the point.
Give us the rule.
Thank you. Honourable members, it is impossible in the rules of the National Assembly or of the joint houses of Parliament to insert all parliamentary practices, and that's why very often the Chief Whip of the DA refers to the rules of procedure and the guide to procedure into the rules. That is succinctly captured in the guide to procedure. However, if the Honourable Member feel very strongly about the matter, I suggest that you do take it up with the Rules Committee and argue the point there. The Honourable Minister.
Thandindaba. Thank you very much, Presiding Office. Thandindaba. Chair, honourable members, yes, the investigation by the then public protector has since been concluded. Due to the delays attributable to the Office of the Public Protector during Thuli's time, whilst the report was being finalized by the office, the said individual actually served her contract until its termination on the 11th of October 2016. The finding of the Public Protector on the compensation payable retrospective to May the 5th, 2009 was quantified and a total gross amount of 2.5 million was found to be due and payable to her. Upon receipt of a tax directive from SARS on the 14th of November, an amount of 1.4 was paid. Payment of this amount did not constitute a buyout, as the member excitedly alleges, but it was obligatory for the department and TCTA to make the necessary adjustment so that it is consistent with her extra responsibilities. Thank you.
The supplementary question from the Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, documents in my possession states that on the 13th of May 2015, after a meeting in Durban, it is alleged that Mrs. Mashile Nkosi mentioned, and I quote, that you, Minister, were under pressure from number one, being the President of South Africa, to secure some of the tenders to him on the Lesotho Highland Project Phase 2. So, Minister, is it not true that Dr. Zodwa Dlamini frustrated you as you could not implement number one's instructions to secure tenders, and that's why you removed her as a commissioner?
The Honorable Minister.
I did not institute the investigation. All those issues that you are saying here that you think are exciting were investigated by Thuli Madonsela. And upon her investigation, she did not find anything warranting any judgment against me or anyone that Dr. Dlamini had actually referred to. As I'm speaking
Honorable
to
Minister, in terms of which rule are you raising, Honorable Member?
92.
What is the point of order?
Can Advocate Thuli Madonsela be referred to as Advocate Thuli Madonsela?
Honorable Member,
we know you have
Honorable
got challenges
Shabambu,
of school
please
there,
take your seat. That is
but
not
at
a
least
point of
respect
order.
people. Let's Advocate
It
Thuli
is not
Madonsela,
a point of
and
order.
she has brought
Can
down
you take your seat, please?
A president who
Thank
is
you,
not
Honorable Member.
trusted by his own cabinet.
Take your seat, Honorable Member.
She has
That is
revealed
not
state
a
captain
point of
must
order.
respect, yeah. Even
Honorable
if you
Member,
defend Zuma's
I'm now
corruption
going
in
to
the
switch off
NEC,
your mic. Can you
it
sit
is
up?
respect-
Honorable members, order, honorable members. Honorable Minister, can you continue? And please address me, Honorable Minister.
They say desperate times require desperate measures, and that's exactly what we're seeing here today. The former public protector investigated, the case is closed, there is nothing untoward, and the gossip that is being brought in here, she could not find any wrongdoing on my side, including those individuals that are referred to, and the matter is closed. Desperate times require desperate measures. This is what is happening.
Is there a follow-up question from the Honorable Baker?
Thank you,
Honorable
Chair.
members, may I just indicate I follow the screen here in front of me. So if you want a follow-up question, what you should do is, as soon as the minister starts with the primary response, you should indicate, this is the guide that I follow. Honorable Baker?
Thank you, Chair. Minister, this is not gossip. These are findings in a report. And in actual fact, Minister, I would say that you are responsible for this fruitless expenditure. Will you, Minister, instruct the Auditor General to determine the amount that you must pay back in the settlement of Dr. Zodwa Dlamini?
The Honorable Minister?
Desperate times require desperate measures. There is nothing in that report. It's grandstanding, peddling of lies. The case is closed. These members serve in the committee. The report was presented. I can't come here and reinvent myself and act beyond what the public protector has said. The case is closed. Zodwa is gone. We are proceeding with Lesotho to finish and clear.
The next follow-up question is to be asked by the Honorable Bilankulu.
Hi ku landzelerisa ndzavisiso wa Thuli Madonsela, former public protector, ku va wu fikile emakumu. Hi yihi dyondzo leyi hi kumeke endzhaku ka ndzavisiso lowu endleke leswaku nakona hi ta kota ku tiva leswaku hi kwihi ku cinca loku nga ta va kona ka matirhelo ku ya emahlweni. Ni lava ku ya heta hi ku vula leswi minister, ni huma a Giyani. Giyani a hi Giyani hinkwayo leyi nga hava mati ku ya hi leswi vanhu va yima ku landzeni ka yindlo leyi va vulavula hi swona. Hina hi tshama ku a Giyani, ha swi tiva ku a Giyani ku na miganga leyi nga na mati, ku na miganga leyi nga riki na mati. A hi ntiyiso ku Giyani a yi na mati, inkomu.
Point of order.
What is the point of order, Honorable Member? And in terms of which rule is that point of order?
So in terms of how the
In terms of which rule are you raising the point of
raising
order?
On Rule 92, in terms of how you make follow-up questions, man blanco.
Honorable Shavambu, that's not the point of order. You can't prescribe to another member how to make a follow-up. Please take your seat.
Not take advantage.
Take your seat. I'm switching off your mic now.
But it's out of
Please
order for here.
Take your
to
seat.
speak about something else.
Honorable members.
Point of order.
Honorable Chauke, will you just take your seat, please? Order, honorable members. Honorable members, you cannot prescribe to another member. All of us cherish the principle of freedom of speech, and it applies to all of us. It cannot be selectively applied. That is the view of the member. The rules allow for the member to either make a statement and to ask a question, and that is exactly what the honorable member did. Honorable Chauke, is it on the same point because I've ruled on the matter now?
But Chairperson.
No, it's not on that
Honorable
point.
Shavambu,
I'm raising.
I've ruled on the matter.
I'm raising on the point of order.
I'm
you must
not-
read the rule book.
Take your seat, please.
But I want to read the rule book.
No, honorable member.
It says there must be consistency.
Honorable Shavambu, take your seat. Please take your seat.
There must be consistency.
You
on
can't
the follow-up
prescribe.
question.
You can't prescribe to other members. It's completely out of order. You wouldn't
But
like
you
that.
must read the
You
rule
wouldn't
book.
want that to happen to you. For another member to prescribe
must
to you
you must
how
read the
a
rule
follow-up
book.
question must be asked. You are out of order.
Read the rule
And will
book.
you take your seat now, please? Please take your seat.
But we've got the rules.
Honorable
here.
member, take your seat. Honorable Chauke, are you rising on a different point of order because I've ruled on this matter?
That's correct. That's correct.
In terms of which point of order?
I'm standing on Rule 92.
That's just
Call it
point of order. It doesn't say anything.
Can you allow me to speak, please?
What is the point of order, Honorable Chauke?
I'm raising on a point of order that is unparliamentary for Honorable Shebambu to refer to member to be hallucinating.
Order, Chair.
It's unparliamentary.
Honorable,
I want
honorable,
you to make
no,
a
honorable
ruling.
member, can you take your seat? I'm busy
Chair.
in terms of the rules. Honorable members, in terms of the rules, if you don't apply the rules selectively, the rules also indicate that when another member is on the floor on a point of order, you can't also get up on a point of order.
You must
Read
tell us the rule. Which rule is he rising
Please read the rules and take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable Chauke.
Yeah, but my point of order was in relation to an insinuation made by Honorable Shibambu that the Honorable member here is hallucinating. He was speaking in Shangan. So it's unparliamentary to call members hallucinating in parliament. I think it's not correct. I want you to make a ruling on that.
Honorable Shavambu, did you say that?
No, I did not.
Okay, the honorable member denies that they have said it. We will check the records. And we will come back to make a considered ruling in that regard. Okay? I want to get on with the question session. In terms of which rule?
Chair, in terms of Rule 92,
What in terms of Rule 92? You see, this Rule 92 is just being bandaged about and then you say something else that has nothing to do with Rule 92.
Chair,
What is it exactly, Honorable Member?
ngicela ukubuza nje nawe ngibona urula against uShivambu ekhuluma isivenda uzwe ngani wena? Utsonga. Wena uzwe
No,
ngani?
Honorable Member, I've dealt with this matter. I'll come back and I'll make a ruling on that
Shivenda is
matter.
one of the official languages in
Take-
South Africa.
Honorable Member at the back, you can't sit, grab the microphone, and say what you want to say. You are also in contravention of the same rules. Order. The Honorable Minister.
Member Shivambo must taste his own medicine. What I want to again confirm is that, as Member Bilankulu has indicated, just as we have done in other areas, Lesotho is a sovereign country. It supplies water to South Africa. We must respect its sovereignty and its national interest, the same as with South Africa. Anyone who wants to make them junior to South Africa will be acting against our own policies as the ANC government. We are all equals, and therefore, anything that works against that, you cannot be our representative. And that's why we have acted on this matter, period.
The Honorable Son, I see you have requested a supplementary question as well.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to know from the Minister why the Minister intervened and stopped the tender process in Lesotho. Yeah, you can laugh, Minister. That is what you did. And allowed that it go out on tender again. Can you tell us why? Is it because you want LTE to tender? They didn't tender the first round?
The Honorable Minister.
Desperate times require desperate measures. You think you want to co-govern? Anything that flies against government policy, including the treaty and the regulations that have now been amended, we will not allow it to happen. We will not allow it to happen because we have agreed on a 50-50 policy with the people of Lesotho, that there will be 50% of South African companies, 50% of Lesotho companies. But secondly, we can't also encourage those who have perpetually benefited, big companies, without inclusion of those that are emerging. If you have a passion and an excitement on an individual company, fact of the matter, if there are no black-owned companies in any mega project, including emerging companies, we will stop it.
Honorable members, we will now proceed to question 341 asked by the Honorable Mbata to the Minister of Higher Education and Training. The Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The student protests erupted once again after I pronounced the government's 2017 fee support to students from poor, working and middle-class families, and the recommendation on fee adjustments for the 2017 academic year. It must be noted that students have in the past raised concerns around the inconsistencies in the determination of fee increments and demanded that I introduce legislation to regulate and standardize fees in universities. The pronouncement on the recommended 8% fee adjustment was not an impetuous act. I requested the Council of Higher Education, which is a statutory body to the Minister, to provide advice on university fees for 2017. CHE argued for Consumer Price Index, but I decided after consulting with all the stakeholders, including university vice chancellors, council chairs, various student organizations, organized labor, faith communities, political organizations, and government. After I had done all these consultations, then I made the necessary pronouncements. In the midst of the protest, in an attempt to find resolutions, I convened meetings with all stakeholders. Further meetings, as I said in an earlier question, are planned for December 2016 and January 2017, again with all the stakeholders. As I have said also, my department will be meeting with the registrars to look into the issue of the beginning of next year.
Also, I need to say that despite many attempts by my department and institutions to ensure a smooth start of the academic year, the biggest challenge still remains opportunists and other anarchists who use legitimate student concerns to destabilize institutions for their own purposes. Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable Mbata.
Thank you very much, House Chair. I was wondering, Honorable Minister, what side were you over the weekend when they were discussing your president? But let's proceed. You cannot kill.
Order, honorable members.
You cannot kill the idea whose time has come. In 2017, students will still be demanding free higher education. How are you prepared? How are you going to respond to them? Because it is not your department to defeat their dreams. They are a generation, and this is their struggle. What are you going to say to them?
The Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Ungabobuza indaba ezingahlangene nawo. Kufana nokuthi ukhonza idlozi la kamakhelwane ubize lona ukuthi lizongena la kwakho. Ungabizi idlozi la kwanzimanda ulibizele kwambatha ngeke lize. Honorable Chair, I did say that we have a roadmap. What is important about 2017 is that the Hare Commission is going to conclude its work. And that's going to be a very important milestone. Many people have gone to this commission to give their views, and we still urge those who have not gone to the commission to give their views, which will hopefully once and for all, once the commission reports to the president and the president together with government responds to that, will hopefully settle once and for all the issue of how do we finalize the introduction of free higher education for the poor. That is why sicela kubo bonke abantu bakithi abazali nabafundi nabantu abathanda inqubekela phambili ukuthi bayekelele ijaji umehluleli lomkhulu ukuthi aqede umsebenzi wakhe. Abangafuni ukulinda lokho abavele befuna uchuku ukuthi kungabibikho ukuthula ezikhungweni zethu zemfundo ephakeme ngoba sesiseduze la sifuna ukuthi sifike khona ukuze siqedelele vele umsebenzi ekade sawuqala siwuhulumeni kaKhongolose ngo1994. Siyabonga sihlalo.
The Honorable Bozoli.
Thanks, Chair. Minister, it was recently reported that a number of student organizations went away on a luxury weekend workshop to the Royal Hotel in Durban to discuss organizing their protest for next year. Minister, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, the Hare Commission that you just mentioned, is only due to submit its final report in July. How do you feel knowing that the report will be far too late for any of its proposals to be implemented for 2017 or even 2018? And what are you going to do about it? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chairperson, I don't know about anything about students gallivanting to the Royal Hotel and so on. It's not for me to know. Maybe the DA has got some details as who those students are and what they were actually planning. We have been dealing with this matter together with the Treasury. For instance, there are a number of measures already that we have taken for the next MTEF. But we are acutely aware that we must not allow a space or a gap to develop. But that must not detract from the fact that because the Commission is going to report, it's going to be a very important milestone in itself. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable members, The 3 hours allocated for questions has now expired. Outstanding replies received will be printed in Hansard. Honorable members, we will now take the question that's took over from Wednesday, the 16th of November, in terms of Rule 138, and questions that were transferred from written to oral in terms of Rule 146.1. An additional 30 minutes has been allocated for these questions. I now take question 266, which has been asked by the Honorable W. Horn to the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. The Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Horn, for the question, and thanks, Chairperson. Section 179(6) of the Constitution and Section 33(1) of the National Prosecuting Authority Act obligates the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services to exercise final responsibility over the National Prosecuting Authority. The National Prosecuting Authority is required in terms of its prosecution policy to effectively cooperate with the police and other investigative agencies to enhance efficiency and efficacy of the criminal justice processes. As the National Director is the head of the National Prosecuting Authority and vested with the constitutional responsibility to institute criminal proceedings on behalf of the state, the Minister deemed it appropriate that the National Director was best placed to brief the meeting on matters relevant to the violence that had erupted at institutions of higher learning in protestation against the high fees at tertiary institutions under the so-called Fees Must Fall campaign. I thank you.
The Honorable Horn, do you have a supplementary question?
Thank you, Chair. Minister, you say that Mr. Abrams was best placed to brief this meeting. He, in typical hyperbolic manner, called this situation anarchy caused by the fees must fall. He assured us, and will you assure us, that this meeting was not used to discuss the possible charges against the Minister of Finance, as this meeting was only a day before the press conference where these charges were announced? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister.
Let me start by saying that, like in the Cinderella story, if it does not fit the shoe, it does not matter what you do to the foot. It will still not fit the shoe. The reality is the meeting and the people who are attending that meeting could not possibly have had anything to do with that particular matter. The question of decisions to institute prosecution against any person is the preserve of the prosecuting authority and nobody else. In terms of Section 179, I exercise final responsibility, and in that regard, I had already prior received a briefing from the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and in turn advised the President of the imminent decision. Thank you.
The Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, House Chair. Honourable Minister, when you called the National Director to the meeting at Luthuli House, did you give any thought to the fact that you were crossing the lines of the separation of powers and seriously compromising the perception, at least, of independence of the NPA? And if not, why not? And then finally, could you just tell us, Mr. Minister, did the National Director ever get to his dentist appointment?
Honourable members, I want to remind you, in terms of supplementary questions, you may only ask one supplementary question and not substitute the end with another few subsections. Honourable Minister.
In any case, I didn't hear the second question. But in relation to the first question, let me indicate that the honorable member, who is herself not only a lawyer, but a former member of the NPA, knows Section 179.6 so well. It is clear, it's in black and white. The minister responsible for the administration of justice exercises final responsibility over the prosecuting authority. The Constitution would have, if it deemed it appropriate, not have made that kind of provision in relation to prosecuting authority. For example, there isn't such a provision in relation to the judiciary. There isn't such a provision in relation to Chapter 9 institutions. The Constitution was deliberate in ensuring that the executive exercises final responsibility over the prosecuting authority. Well, you may have preferred separation, but the Constitution deemed it otherwise. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Fultani.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, you used the word could not have possibly, but I would counter that by saying there was all the probability of influence over the decision of the National Prosecuting Authority. How would you counter that? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chairperson. And once again, may I repeat the Cinderella story. It doesn't matter how much you squeeze your foot into the glass shoe, it will simply not fit. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Warren.
Minister, in your answer, you referred to the fact that Section 33 gives you final responsibility over the NPA. Section 33, however, delineates your engagements or your possible engagements with the NDPP. It gives you the right to ask for information in respect of a specific case, regarding any decisions taken by the NDPP or his directors, questions regarding prosecution policy, policy directives, the annual report, and a request for meetings with members of the prosecution services. Which of these specific subsections of Section 33 of the NPA Act allowed you to request the minister to a meeting at the head of your political party, the head offices of your political party?
The Honorable Minister.
You have just quoted it. You said that one of the subsections relates to specific matters under prosecution. There were instances of arson, there were instances of malicious damage to property of all kinds, and many other criminal offenses that had been committed under the auspices of this campaign. The information was necessary to appraise the security cluster of the full extent of the situation in order that government exercise its responsibility of ensuring that stability is restored in the country. I thank you.
That concludes question number 266. I now move, honourable members, to question number 71 that has been asked by the Honourable Wilson to the Minister of Social Development. The Honourable Minister.
Chairperson, let me firstly apologize because we don't have the first part of the question. That's the financial part. But the international responsibility and obligations are here. So the department, and we are going to provide the figures as requested by the member. The significant responsibility with regards to international advancement of social, civil, and political rights. Yeah, that is how they are divided. And therefore, we serve in the Commission on Population and Development, because population and development is housed in social development. We also serve on the Commission on Social Development. We play a role and negotiate in the international legal instruments which involve civil and political rights, Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, the Convention of the Rights of the Child, the Convention of People with Disabilities, the Convention on the Rights of People.
Point of order.
Honourable Minister, will you take your seat, please? I just want to take this point of order. In terms of which rule, Honourable Member?
House Chairperson, it's in terms of Rule 92. If you read question 71, it's specifically asking about information that's been requested. Now, I understand that it's very difficult for ministers on the hop to give these things. This question was submitted 3 months ago and has now been held over again, which is why we're dealing with it today. And it's about the 2015-16 financial year. I fail to understand how the minister could come to the House without the information. She's had months to get this information from her department. And now she's reading stuff that has got absolutely nothing to do with what the question has asked. Can she please give us the answers to the questions?
Yes, the Honourable Minister did indicate that she did not have those figures. However, I'm interested. No, don't shout at me. Don't shout at me. If I respect you, please respect me. Honourable Minister, I've indicated, or you have indicated rather, that the first part in terms of the financial figures is not available, and you went on to explain what those obligations are. I'm going to allow the Minister to continue. However, it is prudent that the rest of the information is tabled, not only sent to the relevant member, but it should be tabled to the Office of the Speaker so that we can publish the reply to that information. The question is a question that has stood over for some time. The Honourable Minister?
Chairperson?
Yes, Honourable Member.
On a point of order 92. Chairperson, this question is quite long, if you look at it. Nowhere in the question does it ask for the information the Minister is giving. If I may read it, it asks for financial figures throughout. For example, what is the total amount spent on local
I've
and
read the
international
question.
So, well, if the Minister doesn't have any financial information to give to the Honourable Wilson, then there's nothing to answer. She's come here unprepared once again.
Honourable members, Honourable Minister, is there anything else in your reply that speaks to the question that is on the order paper?
No, Chairperson.
Okay, we will formally write to the Minister so that we request in terms of the rules that the details be provided to the Office of the Speaker and for that information then to be published in the ATC.
Order, Chair.
What is the order, Honourable Member?
Chair, I think you must rule on this because the minister is holding this house in contempt.
I've just ruled,
what was she
Honourable
responding on if she does not have the answer?
Honourable Member,
so
take your
it means
seat.
she knew that she's
I've
not
already
responding
ruled.
to the answer.
I've ruled on the matter.
Is this how we are taken for a right?
I've ruled on the matter, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
Sorry, on a point of clarity, Chair.
Yes.
Just clarity. You've asked the Minister to provide the information. Can you set a deadline by when we can expect that information? It's over 3 months.
Yes,
We've been
unfortunately the rules are silent on that, right? But that reply must reach the Office of the Speaker by the end of this term, which is next week. It's next week, Wednesday. Honourable Minister, if you can submit that information to the Office of the Speaker, and we'll publish it in the ATC for all members to get that information. Honourable members, I will thus move on to question number 74.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, Honourable Wilson.
Thank you. I appreciate your ruling and a deadline being set, but it now takes away our opportunity for a follow-up question with regards to this. May we please present the follow-up question? Thank you.
You see, Honourable Member, your own Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip have said that the information that the Minister is providing is not relevant to the question because it requires figures. Now, I don't know based on what will that follow-up question be if that information is not provided, and I have ruled that the reply in terms of the question will be tabled in the ATC. What I suggest you do is, Honourable Member, once you've seen the reply by the Honourable Minister, you can then decide whether you want to ask another question or embark on any other action in terms of the rules of how you want to get additional information from the Minister. I want to move to question number 74 that was asked by the Honourable Masango to the Minister of Social Development.
Thank you, Chairperson. The ruling of the court on the matter is that come the 31st of March, the tender comes to an end.
Sorry, House Chairperson, with point of order.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Again, if one looks at the substance of the question, the Minister's response does not relate to it whatsoever. There's a specific request in 1 and 2. Now, again, I accept that this is a difficult question in terms of putting it in an oral form. But that's why these were written questions originally. The Minister didn't bother to respond, and she can't get out of it by now coming to the House and giving this sort of farcical response. It doesn't speak to the question at all.
Honourable Minister, in terms of your response, is there any additional information that you wish to divulge in terms of this question, please? Honourable Members, it was a written question, as the Honourable Member has said, so it requires a lot of information. However, Honourable Minister, I would request you to respond to the gist of the question, please, which deals with the expiry of the contract, and all the subsequent questions then is related to that.
Sihlalo. Okokuqala, sichazile lana ekuqaleni kade siphendula omunye umbuzo ophathelene nalo. Ngokomthetho wenkantolo, i-contract iyaphela ngomhla ka-31. Okwesibili, sasho ukuthi sesiyazi ukuthi ekufanele senzeni ngoba inkantolo yayikade isinikeze sasikade sinikeze inhlelo eziyisikhombisa zama deliverables eyiphathelene ne-integration of systems, biometric verification and authentication, payment processing, payment infrastructure, cash distribution and security, card issuance and special accounts, and payment reconciliation. Mangabe sesiyohlala phansi, sesinikezwa imbono, i-advisory committee, sesibheka nomsebenzi ozokwenziwa ama-work stream. Kwavela indaba ye-infrastructure ekuyiyona ebalekile, integration of data service, ne-re-registration babethi ndavundavu but sayenza, sayiqeda futhi. Ne-identity and access management program of the officials, ways of fraud risk and cyber assurance program, web-enabled platform program, biometric enrollment program, integrated customer care, new improved process program, alternative pay point program, supply chain management readiness program. And then, emva kwaloko, sabona ukuthi ama-time frame ekade siwabekile angeke size sikwazi ukwagcina. Namhlanje sipresentile ku-portfolio committee ukuthi angeke sikwazi ukwagcina amanye ama time frame, but into esifuna ukuthi sikwazi ukuyenza ukusheshisa iprocess yokuthi iprogram iintegrate usasa akwazi ukuqala ukwenza umsebenzi. Kodwa futhi okunye sishilo sathi engeke sikwazi ukwenza, like ukuvikela imali, angeke sikwazi ukuvikela imali. Kunabanye abantu abakwaziyo ukuspecialize ngokuvikela imali. Kodwa njengamanje ama work streams ahleli phansi ayawenza awubhekile umsebenzi. Yileyo ireport esinayo njengamanje. Ngaphandle kwaloko sizoba nenkinga yokuthi sikhulume la abanye babe ne-unfair advantage, ne-process yethu ibekwe ku-scrutiny because sesikhulume ezinye izinto ekufuneka ukuthi zibe iphathi yezinto esizozenza mangabe si-advertiser for itender. Ngiyabonga.
The Honorable Masango.
Thank you, Chair. As usual, the Minister has not answered the question. She has not answered the question, and this is the reason why we have this question on the oral questions today. We have tried many times to ask the very, very simple question: is the agency going to allow CPS to continue with the grant payments from the 1st of April 2017? That question has been asked in many forums, in many times, and at each of those times, no answer has been given. One is hoping that the Minister today, at least, will be able to do that.
The Honorable Minister.
Imapha ama-mini forum, amaphepha, ngoba amaphepha worried kakhulu ngalento. And la abantu abamelwe ekufuneka ukuthi sibe worried ngabo abantu abampofu.
Point of order, Chair.
Honorable Minister, will you take your seat? What is the point of order, Honorable Member?
I just want to answer the Minister about the forum, and it's not the meeting.
No, Honorable Member. You
No,
don't
she's
have-
asking,
No.
Chair. She's asking
No, the
which
Minister.
forums.
No, take your seat, Honorable Member. The Minister is replying.
No, she didn't answer.
And
She
no,
just
Honorable
asked
Member.
me.
No, take your seat, please. Honorable Minister, will you conclude, please?
I-conclusion yami ukuthi zonke i-step ze process yokukhokha kabusha wonke umuntu uzozazi uma ngabe sizenza. Masinenkinga sizoza futhi reporta ngoba akufanele sishaye ngathi umsebenzi olula lona. Akuwona umsebenzi olula, umsebenzi difficult, and asifuna ukuza nama solutions angeke aze asize. Ningabhenguzisa nisho yonke into enishoyo, kodwa the fact of the matter is we don't want to come here and say things that we will not be able to do. Thank you.
The Honorable Mente.
Enkosi Chairperson. Ngqongqoshe. Umbuzo wami ulula uthethe qala nge-phase in ne-phase out. And umuntu ohlele ekhaya unexhala. Ingakumbi abo basezilalini. Loba le mali izawufika na kuyi. So ndithatha ngokuthi ke le explanation bewinika ngoku. Ngu-phase in no-phase out. Kodwa ngohlobo ndimamele ngalo uthetha wena ngamaphepha eniwenza ngaphakathi eofisini. Awuthethi ngomuntu ozawuhamba nale mali iyofika elalini. Awuthethi ngesecurity enizasiqasha. Awuthethi ngabantu abaninzi ekufuneke beqashiwe bazoyofika phaya kunye nemoto yonke into efanele nibe nayo. Ungasicacisela kakuhle ubana yonke loo nto leyo seyikhona.
The Honourable Minister.
Ngithini ngeyimoto? Ngithini ngokuqasha security? Ngoba security asispecialize ngayo. Otherwise every month end kuzodutyulwa abantu igebenga ifuna ukuthatha imali. Okwesibili angisazi ukuthi yini ekufanele ukuthi siyisho ngaphandle ukuthi amalunga ahloniphekile afuna ukukhipha amanzi etsheni and amanzi awaphume etsheni. Lokhu ezama ukuchaza umsebenzi esesiwenzile. Ngiyabonga.
The Honourable Van der Merwe.
House Chairperson. Honourable Minister, I think this is a very important issue because 1 April 2017 is around the corner. Your department is not ready. You have admitted as such. You told Scopa that you've only got a wish that SASSA will be ready to pay out the grants. You are not willing to admit that you will extend CPS's contract. So my question is, if you are not ready to pay out grants, and you're not willing to tell us that CPS will continue paying out grants, then who will be paying grants? What is the plan of action? What is your fallback plan? And also, the problem is, the contract with CPS was declared invalid by the Constitutional Court in 2014. You've had 3 years to fix this problem, and still you've done nothing. Now my question is, and the same company has been stealing our people's money. CPS and Net1, if you extend that contract, will continue to steal our people's money. What are you going to do? What is your plan?
The Honourable Minister. Order, Honourable members.
Inkinga enkulu ukuthi esithanda ukuyiphinda. Lento ilungu elihloniphekile lishoyo. Lishilo futhi ekuqaleni kade likhuluma. Inkatha enkululeko yesizwe iyazi ukuthi ama grant yayiwakhokha ngocash inika abantu ucash. Asiqale lapho. Okwesibili.
Order, Honourable members.
Okwesibili bekune sock pen engawa noma inini. Akulona iqiniso ukuthi besihlezi singenzi lutho. Wonke umuntu bejabula la ukuthi senze i-re-registration kumnandi sisave imali manje esesi inefficient. Si inefficient ngoba kumele sikhiphe ukuthi ubani esomsebenzisa. Kunabasebenzi abakhona vele kahulumeni abangakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi. Ngithe mangiqala i-Constitutional Court yathi up until the 31st. So logo sizimisele ukuhlonipha. And into
Order, Honourable members. Order.
Mangikuthemba kabi ungenzi lento engiyenziwa yilapha. So into ebalekile is that there is work in progress and we are prepared to rise to the occasion. And most of us here know that we've been able to rise to the occasion and we are not arrogant about that. We understand the challenges that we are facing and all of us here understand those challenges. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, the additional time that has been set aside for these questions have now expired. That concludes the business for the day and the House is adjourned.